I'm ready, yep.
March 24th, 2026 City Council meeting come to order. Prayer. Dear God, today as this session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Counsel Chow.
Here.
Counsel Dakota.
Here.
Mayor Gitschier.
Here.
Counsel Juran.
Here.
Counsel Liang.
Here.
Counsel McDonough.
Here.
Counsel Mercier.
Here.
Counsel Noon.
Here.
Counsel Robinson.
Here.
Counsel Rourke.
Here.
Counsel Scott.
Here.
11 present.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Any moments of silences? Seeing none, we'll move on to mayor's business. 2, mayor's business. 2.1, communication, remote Zoom participation. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Robinson. 2.2, proclamation, Tuskegee Airmen Commencement Day. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Prior to World War II, African Americans were largely excluded from significant military roles, particularly in aviation, due to systemic discrimination and widespread misconceptions about their capabilities. However, the increase in demand for pilots during the war, along with the rise in educated African Americans, led to a historic breakthrough. The Tuskegee Institute became a pivotal training ground where nearly 1,000 African American aviators earned their wings, overcoming racial barriers to serve the country with honor, and the Tuskegee Airmen, to 15,000 to 18,000 personnel, including mechanics, flight surgeons, bombardiers, and nurses, played a crucial role in securing victory in the European and Mediterranean theaters. Their bravery and skill in combat earned them numerous commendations, and their achievements helped challenge and dismantle racial stereotypes, proving their excellence not only in aviation but across various military domains. And among these trailblazers was Nancy Lieutenant Cologne, a pioneer in military nursing who broke both racial and gender barriers. After graduating from the Lincoln School of Nursing in 1941, she initially faced rejection from the armed forces due to the exclusion of black nurses. Undeterred, she volunteered and was accepted into the Army Nurse Corps in 1945. Assigned to Lowell General Hospital, she treated World War II soldiers with exceptional care, earning a rapid promotion to first lieutenant. Her story, along with those of others who served alongside the Tuskegee Airmen, underscored their vital role in breaking racial barriers in the military. Therefore, on behalf of Mayor Eric R. Gitschier, City of Lowell, do hereby proclaim Thursday, March 26, 2026, as Tuskegee Airmen Commemoration Day, a day to honor the valor, perseverance, and groundbreaking contributions of the Tuskegee Airmen and those who supported them, including the courageous service of Nancy Lieutenant Cologne. May their legacy inspire future generations to strive for excellence and justice, given this 26th day of March, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Mercier, seconded by Councilor Juran. 2.3, presentation, Cambodian Diaspora Conference. Dr. Christine Su.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Christine Su, and I am a visiting faculty member in the History Department of UMass Lowell. And I teach the history of Southeast Asia, Asian American Studies, the history of Southeast Asian refugees, and the Cambodian American experience. And each time that I teach in spring, in light of having, or in lieu of having a final exam, I have my students do a project. So last year, you may remember there was a project in Western Ave Studios called Khmer in Lowell, and it just showcased all of the history of how people from Cambodia got to Lowell. So this year, our project is a conference called the Khmer Diaspora Conference, and there are people coming from all over, from Cambodia, from Vancouver, from London, from North Carolina, from California, to celebrate, because this is really the first time that the Cambodian community across the world really has had a venue to discuss what they're planning to do for the next 50 years. So you're probably aware that in 2025, it was the 50th anniversary or commemoration rather, of when the first Southeast Asian refugees came to the United States. So now in 2026, we're going to take a look at what's next. What's our next 50 years going to be like? So it's a whole series of plenaries and presentations and performances and food. So everyone is invited. It is free and open to the public. And so far, we have about 250 people registered. So it's going to be a good conference at Middlesex Community College. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Su. Councillor Chow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for inviting her to come speak tonight. The conference actually on this Friday, and I want to thank Dr. Su and her board and her volunteers for organizing this event to happen here in the city of Lowell, inviting people, like you said, from all over the world and all across the country. And this is very fitting where Lowell on the agenda tonight too. We're going to talk about the UNESCO Learning Center, and we are a city and a community of learning. Different facets about life, from education to work and culture and everything. So it's very timely, and looking forward to participating in the events with you, Doctor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Chow. Motion to accept by Councillor Chow, seconded by Councillor Dakota, and place on file. Councillor Noon.
Mr. Mayor, if I may ask to suspend the rule, taking motion to respond one of them our orders because one of our guests has to leave. She has a board meeting. Taking motion respond J, Mr. Mayor,
Motion
on
by-
bid update.
Motion by Councillor Noon, seconded by Councillor Robinson to take 7.1 motion response J, motion response bid update. Councillor Noon.
Mr. Mayor, if I could have also suspend the rule. I'm not sure if she registered. Halsey Nunn, the director or CEO of the Lowell Plan. She's want to speak on this. Thank you.
Just second.
Seconded by Councillor Rourke. LZ Noon, if you would like to say something.
Good evening. Thank you, councilors, and thank you, Mayor and City Manager. I'm actually here with our official steering committee member, so he may do more of the talking, Mr. Anthony Nganga. He's been a longtime steering committee member for the bid. So my name's LZ Nunn. I am the executive director of the Lowell Plan and the LDFC. It's a pleasure to see you tonight, and I've been really impressed and honored while I'm new to this role to see the hard work of 2 years that a committee has gone through to work on a business improvement district for our downtown. This could be a model that other neighborhoods in the community could pursue if the downtown bid were to be successful. But I really think it's really due to the hard work of the administration, the Planning and Development Department, and led by Giovanni Baez-Rose and Ali Carter, who've really been instrumental in this work. And I really want to turn it over to an incredible business owner who's been helping lead this effort, Anthony Nganga.
Thank you. Mayor, City Council, City Manager, everyone that's here. We hadn't planned to come and make an official presentation, but we appreciate the chance to sort of make this informal. I want to call it a gesture because our plan is actually to make sure that we are spending a lot of time and listening. And I just want to let you know that this effort, I think, has been in the making for more than a decade. So when I was introduced to the steering committee as sort of a newly, I don't know if you want to say like, not a resident, but upcoming resident, I guess. It was not just an honor, but I think also a challenge that hopefully this city council that's newly elected can help bring to life. And I say that because we see how quickly time goes by, and there's a lot of, the world is changing rapidly from a social perspective, from an economic perspective. And I think to be able to support this sort of generation that's trying to get this initiative done would be, I think, a major milestone. And I say that because we are seeing changing faces in terms of leadership, in sort of the signature organizations that make up Lowell for what it is. And there is people that are going into the sunset. And again, we're going to be spending a lot of time listening, and both to the council, to the residents, to business owners, to people who are renting, to property owners, not just presenting but listening. Because again, if we don't make an effort to try and improve the things that are within reach, and one of the things that you'll see when you look at the map, it's been iterated, I want to say 3 times since I've been on the steering committee, and that's only in 2 years. And again, because of a lot of rapid changes in so many things, and we've realized that the bigger the boundaries, the more parties that we are trying to bring together, it also creates, I think, greater complexity. And then, one change in leadership in one organization then translates to going back to building relationships, trying to sort of sell the same idea, but in a changing time as well. So we're here more to solicit not just your support, but ask questions, give suggestions, how we can make it better, how we can get it done sooner, because the sooner we can be doing something, the more we can also be testing this sort of a theory and experiment, right? Because until we're in it, there's nobody with a magic wand. If we had, then we would be, whisking it all the time. So again, we're here to do more listening. My name is Anthony Nganga. I speak both as a business owner. We are now in our 10th year in Lowell, and also I'm a co-owner for the building where my business is. Thank you.
Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank both speakers. I know that other steering committee want to be here but could not make it. I want to thank the Assistant City Manager, Giovanni Roses, and her staff, and particularly Lisa Ali Carter's. As speakers spoke of, this is a many years coming. They start off with trying to get people to okay on this project. This is a good project. This is a good project for the businesses in the downtown, but this is also could be, duplicated elsewhere in other districts. There's so much work, as I said, put into this by DPD and DPD team, as well as the steering committee. We are now, as the report indicated, we are now at the signature collection stage. That signature collection stage will take, I would say, at least a year, because you're looking at into 51% of the property value. So you're looking at probably a little less than 100 businesses and property owners to get signature. And that will take, and that's going to be done by the steering committee. They have commitment. They want to see things done. This is steering committee. This is small business people and property owners in the downtown. They want to see this. They want to see this because this is above and beyond city service to the downtown, right? They want to do more than just what provided by the city. The timeline, of course, as I said, sometime next year, this time next year, I think the signature collection will should be complete, right? And that's when this matter will come for public hearing and for vote of the council. So, I urge my colleague to continue to stay in touch with this project, and that. Thank you to the steering committee to go out there and collect signature, because I know you believe in this, and we will make this happen. Thank you.
Councilor Juran.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Back in 2020, when I started having time to learn more about urban planning and economic development, Several renowned urban planners and developers in New York City and elsewhere asked why Lowell didn't have a business improvement district. So I was excited when I met Ally Carter and learned about Lowell's work on the bid. Since then, I've been following the work of Ally and the steering committee, and I've been impressed with the thoughtfulness of the work and the inclusive nature of the team. I know that some people have at times expressed that they've wanted this to move more quickly, but I've always thought that the bottom-up collaborative and community-building nature of Ally and the team's approach is exactly the right way to bring about this change. So I thank you for this update.
Thank you, Councilor Juran. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. I thank the speakers. I think Mr. Naganga hit it right on the head. I'm more than willing to continue listening. One thing I don't really see mentioned too much in this is, has the neighborhood group and the residents, because I mean, I know this is going to be contingent on property owners and business owners down there, but have the residents, the renters, and those that are non-property and business owners been able to chime in on this? And I'd like to see some input back on them.
The floor is yours. Councilor Robinson's asking if other people have been involved.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of outreach in downtown, in the downtown neighborhood. The next part of this is actually we're going to go out to the other neighborhoods outside of downtown. And the reason for that, again, to share information, let people understand what we are trying to do, and that it's not, the focus on downtown is not also to isolate. It's not just to say this is the most special place, but to show the other neighborhoods that we are trying to get together and do something, instead of just standing on the sidelines while we watch, the quality of the economic life, social life just sort of dwindle. And so we've done a lot of outreach to both the property owners, to business owners, to some of the residents as well. And that's something that we're going to continue doing in the coming weeks and months.
Perfect, thank you. I'm hopeful that this works out, because I think in theory it looks like a great model. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Councilor McDonough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Echo a couple of my colleagues in thanking the speakers and Assistant Manager for DPD and Ally Carter and on. I do just have, on the motion response, I have a question for, I don't think, Ally Carter's not here, right? But through, yes, somebody is, it's fine. Mr. Mayor, through you to whoever might have an answer. I'm trying to get an idea of how much money the city has spent, or like money and or time and resources of the city in pushing or supporting this effort.
Assistant City Manager Baez Rose.
Not in a critical way, I'm just genuinely curious.
Sure. So obviously staff time has been spent on this. Ally and Liam are neighborhood business liaison, whose job is essentially to be talking to businesses anyway. So I feel like he would be doing this, having many of these conversations regardless of whether or not we were pursuing a bid. The city had grant funds from the state through the what do they call it? One Stop for Community Growth is an annual sort of pool of all state grant opportunities that are available. The first year we applied for a grant which was fully funded. Cannot remember the amount off the top of my head, but it was fully funded through a grant from the state, which was essentially the work to decide whether or not Lowell should consider pursuing a bid. So we worked with a consultant that did sort of assessments of what other bids do, how they work, how they operate. If Lowell were to consider it, what would that look like? And then after the sort of sense from that initial conversation seemed positive and seemed like it was something that Lowell should consider continuing to pursue, we followed up the following year with an additional grant that was fully funded through EOHL, through the state again. And that one was essentially allowed us to bring a consultant on board to start like creating real documents to help chart a path forward for how a bid could be created and what that looks like. Helped determine the area that we're talking about, helped identify the number of parcels that we would be including in the bid. So all of that kind of like baseline, and then in addition to that, helped formulate the documents that we're looking to have people sign off on right now. So helped formalize what that is. That person was a consultant that, does this, is like a bid consultant, has done this in other communities, and is somebody who was very familiar with the process. And so has been really hugely instrumental in kind of setting that stage. But city involvement has been, frankly, city funding has been pretty minimal. It's been mostly represented by the staff time. We've been able, thankfully, to, due to great grant writing from the team, to be able to fund this through outside support.
Thank you. I have a couple other questions, but I'm going to hold off on them. If I could maybe, I know this report was originally, I think, when Councilor Noon made the motion the first time, I think it was referred to the Economic Development Subcommittee, but subcommittees have been a rocky start. Could I make a motion to refer this to the next Economic Development Subcommittee just for further discussion?
Motion by Mr. McDonough to send this to the Economic Subcommittee, seconded by Councilor Robinson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Councilor Chow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This was a good motion by Councilor Nguyen and a great response. I want to thank LC Nunn and Anthony for coming to speak on this. And Anthony, you're not an upcoming resident or upcoming leader. You are here. You are the leader. You have been a leader. So thank you for coming here to speak tonight. I support this effort. Downtown is everyone's neighborhood throughout the entire city. It's really the front door to our city. It's a good effort, and a bid gives the property owners, business owners, a skin in the game. So, when you have a vested interest, you're going to take care of your business more, you're going to strive more, you're going to be more successful. I just have a question on for small business. Although these days I don't know of any small property owner anymore in downtown Lowell because of the rising property value. But for a waiver for small property owner that might have issue paying the fee, what would the role look like going forward if they're not able to contribute? If they opt for the waiver, how can they be part of this community being formed now, which is a good community?
Councilor, that's an excellent question, and I wish I had that for you. I didn't prepare to speak tonight, so what I would say is what we're working on is an FAQ sheet. It will probably be many sheets, just to answer just those kind of questions. So we've written that down. We've taken into account different conversation pieces that you've brought up tonight, and we'll look forward to putting that together and maybe putting it on a website or something like that.
Oh, that's great. It's a great conversation starter. Thank you for being here.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Councilor Chow. Motion to accept the report and place on file by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Councilor Mercia.
Well, I had a question for Anthony.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I figured through you, Mr. Mayor, to Anthony, you took the time to come down here. You talked about being a business owner. So I would like to ask you, what is your business and where is it?
Thank you. Actually, I have two active businesses. One is Studio 26, and we do architectural design and interior design. We at 99 Market Street. I also have a construction management company, also at the same location.
Okay, I
Yes.
figured something for your time, so I just wanted to give you the advertisement.
Of course. Thank you
There you
very
go.
much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Councilor Mercia, I apologize. I know you were going to suspend the rules. That's what I thought you were raising your hand
Yes.
for. Councilor Mercia.
Thank you. I'd like to suspend the rules and take up a motion 6.6 by Councilor Rourke, because there are people here that are concerned about it. Thank you.
Motion to suspend the rules to take motion 6.6 out of order and seconded by Councilor Noon. 6.6, Councilor Rourke, requests the city manager have the proper department work with the Lowell 911 Never Forget Committee for installation of a new plaque at the 9/11 Memorial. Seconded by Councilor Robinson. Councilor Rook.
Mr. Mayor, we have a couple of retired firefighters with over 60 years of experience. They don't know how to register to speak, so I...
Motion to suspend the rules by Councilor Rook, seconded by
suspend the rules
Councilor
and allow
Scott.
Chief DeRoche to say a few words.
Seconded by Councilor Scott. I don't believe he just did that to you, Chief.
That's okay. Good to be known. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Mr. Manager. My name is Bill DeRozier. I'm here with Bob Littlefield. We've been on this 9/11, September 11th Monument Committee since it first formed. Not all the councils were here at the time when we erected this monument, which was, and dedicated it, which was in 2021. So I wonder if I give you a very brief kind of history of how we got to here and to be here tonight. Let me see. In 2017, a small group of firefighters realized that Lowell needed a monument to remember the tragic, historic, and heroic events that occurred on September 11, 2001. As you know, 343 firefighters died, 60 police officers died, and 8 emergency medical technicians died that day. Also among almost 3,000 civilians also that perished that day. Our group felt that we felt that a detailed monument would accomplish our goal to never forget September 11th. In the beginning, we started various fundraising events, including comedy shows, motorcycle benefit rides, outright donations from many people, and eventually we settled on the walkway, the engraved bricks that go around the monument. That was a big part of our fundraising. And again, we raised almost $100,000 to accomplish that. So it took us 3 years, but we were able to get it done. During the fundraising times, we worked with various city departments, such as the manager's office, city councilors, the historical committee, the planning committee, and the city's monument committee. And we were very fortunate that they found the ideal spot. We had searched for 3 years trying to find a perfect location for this monument throughout the city. They presented it to us. It is the Liberty Tree Park, located right across the street. At the time, that was erected or maintained by the Lowell Garden Club. I'm sorry, the Garden Club. As you'll notice, outside there's a plaque. This is a picture of the plaque that's actually there right now from the Lowell Garden Club. The Liberty Tree Park was initially developed in 1976 by the Lowell Garden Club, which I've been told doesn't exist any longer. We were granted permission to totally rehab this park and install our monument, or the city's monument, in preparation for the 20th year anniversary. Again, all those costs are involved with rehabbing the park, purchasing the monument, having it designed and built. That was all on us through all the fundraising that we did. Since that dedication, a small group of firefighters have maintained the park by spring and fall cleanups, holiday decorations, maintaining the grass, and things like that. The city does cuts the lawns and maintains the sprinklers, but we do all the cleanup. That brings us to today. We're asking the City Council to allow us to mount a bronze plate, which will be very similar to what is there now, a second bronze plate, a plaque, on the wrought iron fence outside. And this will kind of the new plaque will highlight the efforts and sacrifices that were undertaken to enhance the park. In addition, we offer to have the current Garden Club Park refinished. It's kind of got paint on it, it's tarnished over the years, so we'd like to get that refinished so that the two plaques will present the historical aspect of the park itself and look identical or very similar to the two of them. And that's our request. Yeah. That's what we came here for tonight. So,
Councilor Rook.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just that speaks for itself, and I'm sure just request a roll call vote in support of what the chief and captain have put together over the years. It's something that obviously take very seriously, and it's a remembrance. Every year on 9/11, we are over there at the park and to do a ceremony with Lowell ROTC, fire, police, city officials. So this is a just update to the area. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Rook. On behalf of the City Council, we want to thank you for always keeping that place immaculate, and thank you for bringing that monument forward for all of us for the future. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
A pleasure.
Counsel Chow.
Yes.
Counsel Dakota.
Yes.
Mayor Gitschier.
Yes.
Counsel Juran.
Yes.
Counsel Liang.
Yes.
Counsel McDonough.
Yes.
Counsel Mercier.
Yes.
Counsel Noon.
Yes.
Counsel Robinson.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Scott.
Yes.
11 yeas.
Yep.
Thank you, guys, again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you all. One last thing. Last September at the memorial service, Bob and I had a chance to talk to the city manager, and he offered us any assistance by the city in preparation for the 25th anniversary, which will come up this September. So we had a discussion with him. I think the only thing that, Bob, that we can't take care of is between the sidewalk and the curb of the fence of the street. We had originally planted sodgrass there, but you can't grow it there. There's no sprinklers, it just dies. So if somehow the city could take care of trying to either cement it or paving blocks like the courtyard here, so something like that.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through you to the council. Mr. Machado was out there waiting for you to find out what you guys wanted to do with that. So I knew that was coming, and we'll gladly get that done, as well as any of the finances that if we can help with in regards to the plaque that Councilor Rook, as well as the entire council, just voted on. And gentlemen, thank you very much, because what you've done also for the, it should be duly noted with the ROTC from Lowell High, what has happened over there for that organization. It's a wonderful day to close that down for 45 minutes and pay a solemn tribute. So thank you very much for all your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing it's 7 o'clock, we will go to the general public hearings portion. 4.1, Ordinance-Amend Fee Schedule-Parks. Give second reading. An ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, City of Lowell, Massachusetts, with respect to Chapter 150, therefore entitled Fees, by amending certain sections. With that, we will open the hearings to the public. All those anybody to speak in favor? In favor? In favor. Anyone, that portion of the meeting is closed. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Opposition? Opposition. That portion of the hearing is closed. What's the wish of the body? Anybody have? Move approval, Councilor Rourke. Seconded by Councilor Robinson. Roll call.
Counsel Chow.
Yes.
Yes.
Counsel Dakota.
Yes.
Mayor Gitschier.
Yes.
Counsel Juran.
Yes.
Counsel Liang.
Yes.
Counsel McDonough.
Yes.
Counsel Mercier.
Yes.
Counsel Noon.
Yes.
Counsel Robinson.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Scott.
Yes.
11 yeas.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Motion to bundle 5.1 and 5.2 by Councilor Noon, seconded by Councilor Mercier. Going to open the hearing. 5.1, Boston Gas requests replacement of existing gas main on Seal Street. 5.2, Boston Gas requests permission to extend existing gas main from Dutton Street to 6 Wiggins Street. Public hearing will now be opened. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? In favor? In favor. That portion of the meeting is closed. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Grossman. I live at 83 Varnum Avenue. And I volunteer with 350 Mass of Greater Lowell. We have a few questions for National Grid about this proposal. I want to say why we're asking them first. Obviously, we need to address leaky pipes, but before deciding to replace them, The Massachusetts Legislature and the Department of Public Utilities require the gas company to consider repairing them instead, and also to evaluate the feasibility of non-gas pipe alternatives prior to deciding to replace the pipes. This is in the public interest because state laws and policies require Massachusetts to transition away from using gas. That's because methane, which is natural gas, is a powerful greenhouse gas, and using it intensifies climate change and global warming. Secondly, the cost of replacing or addressing leaky gas pipes, however they're addressed, that cost is paid for by ratepayers. The more we spend on gas pipes, the higher gas bills are. Gas bills are too high already, and National Grid has requested an approximately 9 or 10% increase in rates on top of what we're paying now. Why should ratepayers have to pay for long-term investments like replacing a gas pipe in a system that we're going to stop using? So, given all that, we have the following questions about the proposal to replace the existing gas main on Sale Street. 4 questions. 1, has National Grid considered the feasibility of repairing this pipe rather than replacing it? That's cheaper cost and less of a long-term investment. Question number 2, has National Grid considered the feasibility of converting to non-pipe sources of heat? Question number 3, which alternative, repair, non-pipe sources, or replace, was the cheapest? And finally, what was the evaluation that led to the determination to replace rather than use either of the other alternatives? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Opposition, opposition. That portion of the meeting is closed. We need a motion to refer to the wire inspector for report and recommendation on items 5.1 to 5.2. Motion by Councilor Dakota, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
No roll call needed.
No roll call needed. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, the speaker had a good point. Do we have anybody from National Grid here to answer his question?
There is, yep.
Could someone answer his question, please?
Diana Cuddy?
Excuse me,
yes,
Mr.
good
Mayor.
evening.
This is listed as Boston Gas. I'm not sure. Is that the same?
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Diana Cuddy?
Hi, yes, good evening. Diana Cuddy, National Grid, 170 Data Drive, Waltham, Massachusetts. This particular project was identified by the city. The plan is to pave Sale Street. And so when they came to National Grid with the desire to pave the street, we looked at this particular stretch of pipe, and it fit the leak-prone pipe criteria to be replaced. Instead of having the city pave the street, a couple of leaks come up, and then we go back, dig it all up, a brand new paved street, and then repair the leak. So that's the incentive for replacing this section of Sale Street. They did look at another alternative, which is lining the pipe, but it's the criteria didn't fit that, so they did a design to do the leak replacement.
Councilor Dakota?
Thank you. To the speaker, did she answer your question, sir?
The part that she didn't answer was 2 parts. One is, I understand it didn't fit the criteria for lining or repairing, but when you say that, that's just saying that there was a decision not to repair it, but it doesn't say what the criteria are. And secondly, the feasibility of non-pipe alternatives wasn't addressed.
Councilor
So
Dakota?
because it's part of the,
Go right ahead.
There's
Go
a
right ahead.
motion for a report to come back. I think that these questions probably should be at that time, not now, but
Very good, Mayor.
it's up to you.
No, it's very good. I just wanted to make sure the gentleman had a sufficient answer.
You all set? Yeah. All right.
I think so.
Thank you. Thank you. Motion to bundle 5.3 to 5. 1-0 by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Give second reading. 5.3, National Grid requests permission to install recloser at 313 to 317 Nesmith Street. 5.4, National Grid requests permission to install recloser at 12 Washer Street. 5.5, National Grid requests permission to install recloser at 491 Lawrence Street. 5.6, National Grid requests permission to relocate 3 poles on Wood Street. 5.7, National Grid requests installation of 1 JO pole located at 275 Varnum Ave. 5.8, National Grid requests installation of 1 JO pole located at 7 to 19 Nesmith Street. 5.9, National Grid requests installation of 1 JO pole located at 217 Wilder Street. 5.10, National Grid requests installation of 1 JO pole located at 114 to 120 Agawam Street. We're going to open up the hearings right now. Anybody wishing to speak in favor? Please state your name and address for the record.
Vazna Ang, 1101 Turnpike Street, North Andover, Mass. Here on behalf of National Grid.
If you'd like to speak in favor.
Oh, yeah. National Grid is seeking the city's petition approval for all these items listed in order to provide system reliability upgrades for Lowell.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? In favor? In favor? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition? Opposition? Opposition. That portion of the meeting is closed. Do any of the councilors have any questions for National Grid? Councilor Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a few questions on the applications. The dates submitted on them, some of them say 12/2/2026, and some of them have no date submitted on them. Has any of this work already happened?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay, because some residents had brought concerns that the work had already happened, that they could see the reclosers on the line. So the answer is no on this work.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Scott. Any other questions?
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Councilor Rourke. We need a motion to refer to the wire inspector for report and recommendation on items 5.3 to 5.10 by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Noon. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered.
Thank you.
Thank you. Going back to the regular portion of the meeting. 3, City Clerk, 3.1. Councilor Mercia, did you need something? Councilor Mercia.
I just asked him if you forgot to accept the minutes of the meeting, but that's what you're doing now, so. Sorry,
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I thank you for keeping me on my toes. I like it. I do forget. 3, City Clerk, 3.1, minutes of the joint Zoning Subcommittee and Neighborhood Subcommittee, March 5th. Neighborhood Subcommittee, March 5th. City Council, a regular meeting, March 10th, for acceptance by Councilor Noon, seconded by Councilor Mercier. Six, motions. 6.1, Councilor Scott. Request the city manager prepare a 15-year RFP for the needed space for the Lowell Senior Center. Is there a motion to bundle 6.1 and 6.13 by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Scott? 6.13. Councilor Robinson, Mayor Gitschier requests the city manager have the proper department draft and execute a request for proposals seeking to provide alternative accommodations for our Lowell Senior Center. No second and needed. Councilor Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as we all know, when we finished our last vote, we were kind of in a place of limbo with a 5-5 split on this. So I was really trying to just put forward a motion, try to figure out where we are to move forward, whether or not we're just waiting for, legal ramifications to happen from not paying rent at the senior center. I'm concerned about that. I know there's a lot of concern for the seniors about, displacement over there, whether that's, a reality or not, I don't know. But I did put this motion forward. There's also concern over signing a new lease with the current landlord there. So I guess I'm just trying to figure out whether or not this is the will to be able to use CDBG funding or to provide find another location, a temporary location. So I just leave that out there right now. Thank you.
Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. I thank my colleague for bringing this motion forward as well. I think it speaks to kind of the thought process that's going along in some of our minds. And I think this is a very high priority issue. I think we need to find a new home or future home or whatever that home looks like for our seniors. And again, I think regardless of how this current situation shakes out, I do think the city needs to look. It's a great opportunity and put together an RFP and see, is there somebody out there that can accommodate our needs? There's been a lot of concern and interest from the senior population that patronized this location, and they've outgrown that space as well. Can we've already identified a funding source possibly available to do this. Can we find a suitable location and allow them to expand and provide programming that they've been looking to provide for their members? We've also heard some great recommendations from members of the community that have came forward, even people hinting at reaching out to the university for a conversation about the Inn and Conference Center. First 2 floors, a senior center and senior situation, and long-term, potentially senior housing up above. Would one of the universities or educational institutes be interested in providing the food service? That way, it would kind of accomplish a multitude of things, and it would also bring back, eventually, a function space in the heart of our downtown. So I think any conversations, and especially with the RFP, is going to generate the conversation and see, do we have alternative space that would be suitable to accommodate what we need? Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to thank Councilor Scott for bringing this up. Obviously, our options are quite slim at this point, and that an RFP probably would be the best way to go. But I did want to ask the city solicitor. I understand that Councilor Mercier did get an ethics commission opinion. Is that something that can come back for a vote again on whether we're extending a lease or not going to extend a lease?
Solicitor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, if it were the will of the council, that's something that could be made in the form of a motion or put forward and discussed. Again, that's up to the council if that's the direction they would like to go.
I just think that Councilor Mercier's vote should be heard in her opinion, and obviously with a 5-5 vote, we would have a 6-5 vote. I think that might be the first plan to go with that, and if not, then I would agree with Councilor Scott and Councilor Robinson that an RFP would go out at that point, if that's the will of the council.
Thank you, Councilor Dakota. Councilor Mercier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the record, I consulted with the State Ethics Commission, and I spoke to one of the assistant general counsels from the legal division, and after a lengthy discussion and being questioned, it was determined there is no conflict, and so I filed a 23B3 form, and I filed it as a public record with the city clerk's office. Everything is above board there. There are no technicalities, such as I understand were present in the filing of the paperwork for our senior center many years ago on the part of the city by our implied incompetent solicitors of the past. Well, I know our solicitors well from the past, especially Dave Fenton and Tom Sweeney and Christine O'Connor. They were from the past. They were outstanding in their expertise, just as we have the same expertise today. So what went wrong? A technicality? Don't argue over a technicality to gain more for yourself, which leads to the motion. Is this motion the culmination, the plot that someone was waiting for, so we would look back for another senior center location and all the condo units would be owned by one person? How appropriate. You'd then have all your eggs in one basket in one area, no city ownership mixed in with other units. How appropriate, how ruthless, how greedy, how conniving. And I don't really care what I'm saying. I'm speaking from my heart. The real motion should be, let's hire an independent, non-connected person with nothing to gain who specializes in title law, a title specialist, a real estate litigator, who specializes in quiet title action and focuses on the history of the deed, and clearing a cloud of error. A certified title examiner, that is who we need. And something that was implied years ago but never kept. Or maybe the next motion should be, let's investigate other options on relocating our school department to another place and eliminate our connection with deceitful, scheming, merciless people. This city is a tapestry of different cultures. That's why this city is so great. Different nations, they bring their customs here. For example, I am intrigued by the Cambodian culture and that their elders are treated with the utmost respect. They are revered and viewed as the living embodiment of wisdom, the guardians of tradition, and the spiritual anchors of their families. The respect for their seniors is woven into daily life through specific visible actions. I have seen this time and time again. Why do we not see it here in Lowell? Why do we not respect our elders? Why is it that someone with an ample amount of income wants to take something that we own in the beginning away from us, away from our seniors, through a technicality? And I say, how sad. And it's sad for me to go to the senior center for my monthly meeting for the Friends, and they come up to me and say, please, Counselor, support that contract, support the new lease, because if you don't, they're going to lock the doors and we'll be outside looking in with no place to go. How sad is that? That is sad in this day and age that we treat our seniors like that. I can't believe it. So maybe it's time to look around at all the things that we rent and put our people somewhere else. Maybe we can get the Bon Marché and put our school department across the street at the place on, I can't even think of the name, I'm so upset, right across on Market Street. Maybe that's where we should put them and save that money. I don't like to be screwed. I'm going to say it. I don't like it. And that's what I feel we're doing. So you can say, let's give them 15 years and all. And I'm upset because 2001, the contract was drawn up. The lease for the senior centers signed in 2003, though. And we had 76 parking spots. I looked at the old lease and I looked at the new one. 76 parking spots, and now we got 21 in the new lease? Don't insult me like that. That is a shame. $21,000 we paid a month years ago, and this one is double, $42,000. Disgusting, disgusting. I want to tell you just a little story, and we all know there are different type of people in this city, different types. The first type was my father, who I went to St. Patrick's School. I was in the 4th grade, and the nun said to me, oh, I want to thank you, Father, for being so kind, for bringing 50 pounds of potatoes, and every now and then he brings us a food order. I said, Sister, you must have me mixed up with somebody else. That would not be my father. She says, is your father named Leo? I said, yes. Does he work in the mills? I said, yes. She said, that was your father. And I asked my father, why did you not tell me that? He said, because do you read the Bible in your school? And the Bible says that you should do good deeds, but don't brag about them. Then there's another type of individual. These are people that don't need the money, and they wouldn't give you a dime, and they'll con you over a technicality. That's the difference between life and between people, and I'm proud that I had the father that I had. But anyway, be that as it may, I'm sorry to go on, but I'm not supporting the lease, so you can take another roll call. You can try to take the people that already voted no and try to change their mind, but I don't like it. We owned it. What do you not understand there? A technicality? What about the word implied? Implied. Implied we owned it because we did, and I'm not settling for anything less. Thank you.
Councilor Chow?
Thank you, and glad to hear Councilor Mercier's thought on this, her due diligence. Thanks to my colleague, the three councilors put the motion forward for the RFP. If you remember when the vote for the lease came up in the beginning, I did ask the manager if there was an alternative, if there were any other place that we could relocate the seniors to, and Mr. Manager at that time, the option that time, your answer was no. There was no other option of that size, of that space, and so forth available. So that's why I think the motions to do a RFP just to exhaust our options, I think that would be a good way to go about it, just to see, right now there might not be an option that we can think of, but if you put the RFP out there, there might be developers, there might be some building locations, as Councilor Mercier mentioned, that could come up with. So I'd like to explore the RFP, but I do have a couple of questions on that. Normally, how long does the RFP take? What's the time frame? And this is through Mr. Mayor to the manager. And a second part to that, during the request for proposal, what would happen to our, our lease with the senior center? What would be the arrangement during this process? How does it affect the current lease if we are putting the RFP out there?
Manager Golden?
Thank you very much. I may refer any of this to the solicitor, but typically it's going to take at least 30 days to put an RFP up and get it ready and put it out there. That's item number one. So 30 to 60 days, we'll figure something out. As far as the next action that is to be taken, we've made our position pretty clear. What the council has decided at this time, it was a 5-5, so we really had a deadlock, as Councilor Scott had alluded to earlier. So we're waiting for an action to take place from the owner. So we're waiting on what they're going to say to us next. At that point, I assume we'll go into an executive session to have that discussion, and we'll have to move from there. But as the council knows, this has been a deadlock at 5-5. So from the administration standpoint, we're in a holding pattern until we make a decision, which I would believe would be when an action is taken by the current building owner to happen next. I just want to check with the solicitor on that.
Mr. Solicitor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'll quickly address Councilor Chow. You had mentioned the any effect this would have on the lease. There is no lease, so there's really nothing to affect at this point. And as the manager alluded to, we're at a point now where there is no action for us to take. Again, as Manager Golden said, there was no action for us to take from the council, and so really there's nothing for us to do in terms of what would happen next. An RFP, perfectly appropriate, would have no effect on anything. We're sort of in a holding pattern, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
Mr. Mayor, just a follow-up on that. Thank you, Mr. Solicitor, for that answer and clarifying that there's no lease. In that situation, then, while the process of the RFP, is the city paying rent, so to speak, or I know this may not be realistic, but there's fear out there. As Councilor Mercier mentioned, the seniors, they're afraid they could be locked out any day. Could there be a let's just plain scenario, could there be a possibility that during this process, the city's not paying rent, so to speak, no lease, no arrangement, could they close the senior center building at any time they wished, or is there some kind of legal recourse that the city has to make sure that doesn't happen?
Attorney Williams.
I'm not sure whether or not it's appropriate for me to talk about all that here in terms of, the actual legal action that would be taken and then recourse and reaction and rebuttal that would come in response from the city. But if there are mechanisms by which, a legal process could commence, and at that point the city would have to respond and react, quickly to ensure that the seniors stay inside the building. And I can't predict where it goes from there. I have a pretty good idea, but that would be the first opportunity for any action on the city's part.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council Chow. Council Rook.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Getting back before Councilor Morissett spoke, I would just make a suggestion, if it's easier for the manager and the solicitor to explore every other avenue available, whether it be RFP or whatnot, and put the proposed new lease on the back burner, if not just, for now, and just, if you have to wait for us to tell you to do something, I'll make a motion just to explore every possible avenue you can look at to try to solve the situation. On top of the RFP, which I would support, Mr. Mayor.
Motion by Councilor Rook to allow the manager to look into other avenues for a new place for the senior center, seconded by Councilor Robinson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Councilor McDonough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's been a second, but I want to start by saying something I don't know that I ever thought I would say, and I mean this with all of the respect in the world to my colleague, Councilor Mercier. I think that might be one of the first times I agree with 100% of everything that came out of Councilor Mercier's mouth. So thank you for your comments. And I would also just like to bring up something that Councilor Mercier had mentioned regarding other leases. And this is something that I think was at the top of my mind when on January 20th, I had put a motion in. I've since got a few of them, but looking for all of the city's leases, just to see, one, who we're renting from, and two, if there's any other, we haven't looked at this lease in however many years, and it wasn't this administration, and now it's like, oh my God, I can't believe that this silly sentence is in there or not in there or what have you. And then I would just tack on to the not a real motion from Councilor Mercier that it's not just the school department, it's also public health and Mass Hire / the Lowell Career Center are also with that guy. So that is it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Councilor Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to follow up, I guess, as far as our next steps, the conversation that we had with the solicitor. So you're saying that we're just waiting for the owner of the building to take action right now. So the premise that the body has kind of been under is that we own the building, right? We all agree with that. We all agree with that was the premise of the agreement. My question is there any next step for us to take as our option of purchasing it, of owning it? Like, is there any next step that we have to demand, the transfer of ownership to us?
Just file a motion, right, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah. I think we should probably wait for the answer to the motion, but if the solicitor wants to answer it, you have the right to ask the question. Solicitor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'll try and be tactful in how I answer your question publicly. One of the biggest difficulties, as we've discussed, is we are not the recorded owner of this property, so it does limit some of the action that we can take. I think there absolutely are avenues where we could, so to speak, go on the offensive here. There are definitely some legal avenues we could go. Now, I would just, without going into too much detail, I would just caution that in that scenario, I think the city would just have to be prepared. It's so difficult for me to answer because there are so many different ways this could go. So I probably should just stop, if that's okay, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, would it be wise to continue this conversation in executive session? Because clearly there's a lot of stuff that it should not be discussed in the public realm, especially when we get into the legal possibilities and advice that the council's getting. So I would ask, is that a wise decision through you, if my colleagues agree?
I would agree with you, Councilor Robinson, but each councilor has had multiple opportunities to speak, so I'm not going to cut off a councilor from speaking. If the city solicitor feels as though he can't answer something, he should just say, I can't answer that at this time. And I hope that nobody holds that against him, understanding that there are legal ramifications. Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now understanding that the lease is dead on arrival, that is no longer an option. My question to the CFO and maybe to the city solicitor, at this point, how much do we owe the LLC in rent?
Again, we don't want to get into that. We're getting into areas that we could owe something, we don't owe something, we don't know something. So again, we shouldn't be asking questions that should be answered in executive session. I would advise not to.
It is public knowledge, though, isn't it?
Solicitor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What I'm hearing is, it seems like there may be some appetite from the body to go into executive session for this. I can say that I would be able to answer more freely in executive session. I think there'd be a better back and forth, and I would be able to all of these things that I have right here that I want to say right now that I can't, I'll be able to in executive session. So that would be my recommendation, as the mayor stated.
I respect that. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Noon, would you be able to come up and just take the chair for 1 minute, please?
Mr. Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Noon. When we look back at this, I remember being a kid, and there was this politician called Ed LaLasher. He owned a store where people would come in and purchase food. And they would do it on a handshake, and they would say, I can't afford it right now, and I'll come back and I'll pay you. And they came back and paid. Those are the type of people that the city should be dealing with as businessmen. Ed LaLasher was a staple of our community and cared about people and didn't hide under disguise of anybody else or try to take anything that wasn't his. He charged you for what you actually purchased, and his word was his word. And I know that Manager Golden served with him for many years, and he learned a lot from him. And I think that that's the problem in the chamber right now. And I think Councilor Liang had said that before. When did a handshake not become a handshake? And I think that's a major problem. And Councilor Dakota's question about how much do we owe, let's just go back to the original deals. 2001, there was a signed contract for 20 years, but in the signed contract, it said clearly, once occupancy permits are issued, that's when it starts paying. You're not going to pay for something when it's being remodeled. So when I asked that question to the auditor, how many payments did we make? It went back to April of 2003, which kind of threw us all for a tailspin, saying what happened from October to then. And I thank the manager and his team for being forthcoming and saying the occupancy permit was not issued until April of 2003, March 31st of 2003, April 1st. So that triggered the 20 years to the contract, which would have pushed it to 2023, March 31st of 2023. Somehow, in between, the city came out and put an agreement together with itself, DPD to the city, on a new lease for that place. I don't know how you do that without having someone's name on where you're spending the money to. So there's a lot of challenges here in amounts paid. We overpaid at that point. We paid $350,000 that year when we were much less. We were at $27,000 a year, and I believe it was more like about 297,000, somewhere in there. And we overpaid by 50 grand at that point. And there were other avenues in there that it says there were paybacks and everything to all of this. So to try to break down a number that we owe today or we don't owe today, or who owns it or who doesn't own it, I think as Councilor Rourke pushed forward, is not fair right now to ask anybody. Give the manager the avenue to come back again and look for a place for us, because right now we went to $504,000 a year from, that's what they were asking for in the 15-year lease that was presented to us that was in a deadlock. As we look forward, we're finding more information every time we open another book or we turn another corner. So it's very unfair to put the solicitor on the spot or the manager on the spot who wasn't here and try to find history that's in a box in the attic somewhere, and it's really not on anybody's computers like they used to be. I did ask those questions. I thank the auditor for bringing those answers to me. I think it's important that we share open government in the open, but at some point when we start getting into legalities, as the solicitor is saying, now this one's going to sue that one, who's right or who's wrong. I agree with Councilor Morissett wholeheartedly. Press said it was ours. They stood at this microphone back in 2001, said it was gifted back. Everything shows it's gifted back. Where did it go wrong? How did this go wrong? Who's the person? And how do you keep dealing in that same handshake environment when you can't trust the person like we once trusted Ed Lasher to give people food, and he trusted you for the payment? So I would ask we follow what Councilor Rourke's motion was, and we just move forward and try to do what's best for our seniors. It is a sad day when a person tows seniors' cars away. It is a sad day when we get handed a contract that reduces the parking by 2/3 and cuts it down to 21, and then there's attachments that were not attached to the contract that we voted on. It's a sad day when we trust somebody who just took away everything from the seniors in one fast pen thing and said, see you later. So I would hope the will of the council is to follow what Councilor Rourke said, and Mr. Manager, thank you and your team for giving us this information and trying to push for these seniors.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
With that, seeing no one else wishing to speak, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. I left my glasses with Councilor Noon, which is always a good point. 6.2, Councilor Juran, Councilor Scott, request the city manager have the appropriate department provide a draft plan for fulfilling the requirements of the city's code, Chapter 290, Article 7, Section 7.11, regarding the work to be done during the data center moratorium, and share updates at least every 2 months. No seconded needed. Councilor Juran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The action of enacting the data center moratorium 2 weeks ago was really just the first step in this process. And at the time, the city committed to certain actions, including learning more about the impact of data centers on various city services and infrastructure. We know that DPD takes its responsibilities seriously, but the city council should not neglect its role of oversight, particularly on policy matters of this importance. And therefore, we need to ensure that we're kept informed so we don't get to day 360 of this moratorium and realize that we don't know where we are. So that's the request.
Thank you, Councilor Juran. Councilor Scott.
Thank you. Yes, the motion originally around the moratorium was really to put protections in place for residents, and we had made a commitment that we weren't trying to stall progress, that this was a pause to get things right. So I agreed to be part of this motion, mainly because I feel like those community input sessions that, so badly need to happen. I think this is a first step, and I look forward to the work happening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Scott. Seeing no one else, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 6.3, Councilor Juran, request the city manager ask the director of elections and possibly Lowell Public Schools to provide a debrief of what worked and didn't when the recent special elections were held while public schools were open. Seconded by Councilor McDonough. Councilor Juran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the time of the special elections, several parents had reached out. They were worried about their kids losing school time, especially given the number of holidays and recesses and snow days that we were having this winter. But schools stayed open, so we have an experiment that we can learn from, which is how did the elections go in light of the schools being open, and what can we learn from that? So I think it's a great opportunity to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Juran. Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very good motion by Councilor Juran. I'm not sure if any of my colleagues got any calls, but I did not. I thought it went just fine. And I was kind of taken aback when I did see next year's school calendar, and they already canceled school on preliminary and election day for next year. And not knowing, I mean, if everything went smooth, I can't see why we'd be canceling school. I know it's a very gray area, but if we have enough policemen on duty, I can't see why we can't keep schools open. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Dakota. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 6.4, Councilor Yang requests the city manager and his team develop an improvement plan for the internal physical environment of City Hall to enhance overall comfort and create a welcoming atmosphere for residents, visitors, and dignitaries from around the world. Seconded by Councilor McDonough. Councilor Yang.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm glad this motion is not really thought-provoking, give you a headache. As you can see, you're looking at the black sofa right in front of you. I'm not sure how many folks has been sitting in there, and one day a community member came to me and said, I've been sitting here for a little less than an hour, and my back hurt and I couldn't get up. So that's how it started, and so I wanted to make sure that her voice is heard and let the city manager know. But on top of that, we have a lot of stuff going on in the city, and I want the City Hall to be a place where people can just come in, have a coffee downstairs if they can, or just take a moment and relax. As well, while I'm at it, I like to see, because it's hard to, every time we have a speaker, we have to turn our back and look at them or talk to them. And sometimes it doesn't feel right to turn our back to our speaker and residents. And my request is very simple. Is there a way to make it more welcoming, but at the same time let people leave their footprints? LCD screen of all the activity that the city done. I know we have a kiosk, but that doesn't work so well. This is not something that's so big as though, people talk about this is a historic site or anything like that. This is no meaning that way at all. This is just an environment where people can come in, Councilor Rita Mercier said, we're a city of cultures, city of people, and so we'll want to make City Hall feel that way for people that come by. So I'm not sure how it's going to look like, but let's do that.
Thank you, Councilor Yang. Councilor McDonough.
Thank you. I was just going to say I'm spending a lot more time at City Hall than I ever used to in my life, but one of the things that I have that I first experienced when I needed to get a marriage license here, and that even now I see people on Tuesday nights or on a subcommittee meeting night come in and they have a really hard time figuring out where they're supposed to go. And they kind of stand, and I'm sure you guys work here, so I'm sure you see it pretty often, but they kind of stand in the lobby and look around and are like, I wonder where I go now. And there's a couple of kiosks, but clearly they're not, I don't know if they're not working or if people just hate kiosks. Like, I don't know. I don't fully understand. Maybe they hate kiosks, and in which case, good luck. In the other piece is on Tuesday nights is when I really notice it, because that's when we're here for this, is when there's something on the agenda that brings in someone who's not familiar with City Hall. I've seen people walk around on the first floor for 10 minutes looking for the council chamber. It doesn't, and I know where it is. I think people who come, obviously I know where it is, but I think people who come to the meetings regularly know where it is. But when there's something that attracts a new member of our 120,000 person city. I think just something as simple as making that a little bit easier to figure out. And again, I know we get kiosks, so I don't pretend to know the answer, but I do think it's a good motion, so thank you.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 6.5, Council Yang requests the mayor provide a semi-annual report detailing the activities and responsibilities of his office. This report should include information on community events, initiatives, status, and upcoming services and programs within the city of Lowell to empower the community and its residents. Seconded by Councilor Robinson. Councilor Yang.
What do you think, Mr. Mayor? Is that possible? In this chamber, we have former mayors, current mayors, and also could be future mayors in here. And I've gone through a few of those flag raising and community event. When you spoke of hope, cultural diversities, during flag raising and graduations and things like that. You give hope to the people. And at the same time, I like to get more people involved within all the things that they have encountered with the mayors and the city councilors and many other activity that's happening. Again, I just want to clarify, this is not operational, and this is something that the mayor's office has been doing. But at the same time, a lot of activity that's been happening, some of the people out there in the community, some of them don't know about it. Some of them, are part of the community, but at the same time, there's a lot of different groups, and I think they should be known. I think they should be heard. Again, I'm all about the people, and I think if it's possible for the mayor to provide, some sort of semi-annual report, I think the people would like that, because there's a lot of things that's happening also every single week throughout the city, whether it's ribbon cutting, whether it's flag raising, or some other cultural and community event. I think this is a good way of reaching out to the community and build more, I guess, a connection with the community member out there. I know we have mayor who's strong in economic, social, legal, and also community. So I think that I'm just putting out there in hopes you and future mayors can adapt to it.
Thank you, Councilor Yang. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. I thank my colleague for bringing this forward. I agree. I think, so when Manager Golden first started, I think some of this was something he heard loud and clear, and did a tremendous job, him and his team, by putting a comms team together. Case, Miss Speed, we put out a ton of information compared to from when I first got on the council till now, 180-degree difference. I mean, I also would like to highlight, we have somebody, one of our colleagues here, that does a phenomenal job as well, and that's Councilor Juran. I mean, her information that she puts out routinely, and this is something that's been a passion of hers and a hobby of hers for quite some time. And I mean, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find an event that occurred that she didn't have her hooks on and report it out. So I think by pulling a couple of already existing channels together and seeing if we can come up with one kind of dump of information that people can kind of set their clocks to and check, I don't know what day or how that looks, but maybe say Thursday, people know, hey, the new event schedule is coming out of City Hall or Mayor's office or wherever it comes out of, and they can plan accordingly for their weekends, especially, and I think timeliness. I think right now, as we're all well aware, the amount of events since Ice Out has quadrupled, and it's just going to continue with the nicer weather. So I think this is a really good motion, and the more information we can push out, I mean, a lot of times we see ribbon cuttings going on in neighborhoods that the residents and the people that live in that immediate area don't know anything about. So the more people that we can inform to bring out, maybe they wander over and try that new ice cream shop or the new nail salon or barber shop or whatever it may be that we're pushing out for information. So I appreciate the spirit of this motion, and I think we do have a lot of these pieces already in place. It's just a matter of consolidating them and using them efficiently. Thank you.
Councilor Scott?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I actually was going to just say what Councilor Robinson just said is about having a central location, a central calendar, where people can find out everything that's happening all at once. So, thank you.
Councilor Rourke?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And, while I'd love to add more to Mayor Gitschier's agenda and table, this isn't his or his office's responsibility. This is something that, communications should probably take a look at, and the manager's office should probably do. I know as far as councilors go, we get 2 or 3 emails about the same events and the same things, through the mayor's office, and everybody, loves to harass us and his work, and the office as well. But, this does not belong, through Mayor Gitschier's office, to the mayor's office. So, if communications wants to take the lead on it and try to establish something, that's great. The paper gets all kinds of information. It's all the flag reasons are in the little sun every time. Social media has everything posted. I mean, we do, like Councilor Robinson said, a real tremendous job, of getting the word out. And it's almost, I know, the mayor and I agree on, how to get more people to vote, right? And if they don't want to vote, they ain't going to vote. So, you can get the word out 10 different ways till Sunday. If, they don't want to come for a festival or a flag raising, that's their loss, not ours. So. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Chow?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Great motion by Councilor Liang and excellent comments by Councilor Robinson and my other colleagues. We don't have the MIS director here, but through you, Mr. Mayor, maybe the manager can answer or somebody here can answer. Would it be possible to have some kind of a message board on the website or some kind of a media where it's interactive, where organizations could pretty much can participate and enter the event, and it would be on one location. Councilor Rourke mentioned about the centralization. Just have people like self-input the information on different events on the message board, and people can go check to see what's available for the week or for the month.
Mr. Manager, would you like to, Councilor Juran?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think all of those are great ideas, and those folks who know my newsletter know that I go to about 70 different sources to find what's going on in the city, because I started this 4 years ago because there is no one centralized calendar, and there are many opportunities for people to put their events on many calendars, and they each have a different focus, and that's probably as it should be. But I would be happy to not have to do this twice a month. Don't ask me to do it every week. It will not happen. But I put it together because I love Lowell, and I want everybody to know how wonderful this city is and how much good stuff we have going on, and that was its purpose. So I think if we can come together and figure out better ways of sharing that information, I think we will all benefit. But I would not underestimate how simple it is or isn't to do that.
Thank you, Councilor Juran. Councilor Morissett?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Speaking about information and events, tomorrow at noontime is the Greek independent flag raising at noontime, so that everybody knows. And after what I just said earlier, I hope I'm welcome on the Greek independence flag raising, because I will be there. Thank you.
Councilor McDonough?
Very quickly, and I thank Councilor Liang for the motion. I think that there's a way that this motion does make. I think the motion makes sense. I also think there's a way that it, to my understanding, would work really well with the role of the mayor in Plan E, where you're the mayor is the ceremonial head of the city. I think the only way that works, though, as through your office, would not be to put every fundraiser and event at a restaurant and whatever there, but kind of those ceremonial events where the mayor is, whoever the mayor is in the future, was, whatever, is doing the ceremonial mayor business. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. if there's no objections, I would just like to make a comment from up here so I don't have to walk back down and bother Vice Mayor Noon for a moment. I think that, you know, at the end of the day, our office gets bombarded with calls thinking that we're the manager's office and directing people to places. And I think one of the great pieces that's put forth here is we always have things on our social media after the fact rather than before. And maybe we could put, you know, neighborhood meetings on that social media piece and start a letter like that in advance instead of after we go to things. And I think you're on to something, Councilor Yang, that we could do those pieces and try to get it and build upon the things that the manager's office, and we'll work with the manager's office on that and his staff, because they've been great to us. You know, special events, they give it to us early. We start to get everything on time. Melissa, you've been great for us. She writes things for us. She puts press releases so that I sound good in the public sometimes. And, you know, that's the point. The manager writes those, I forgot. It's a name at the top that gets the credit. Sorry, Melissa. But no, truthfully, I think it's a great motion, and we will work on it. And we'll work with Councilor Juran and anyone else who gives us the resources to do it. But I don't want people to think that immediately it's going to be this whole, everything's going to get power dumped, because I have one person in there who asked this, and the phone gets rung, he has to run out, he has to do a lot of different things. So with that, all in favor? Any opposed? So ordered. 6.7, Councilor Rourke, Mayor Gitschier, request the city manager work with private donors to construct a bench at the North Common in memory of New England Gold Glove champion Bo Janes. Councilor Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of the old-time boxers approached the mayor and myself a couple of weekends ago. They have a granite bench that's ready to go in honor of Bo Janes, and they asked us to present to the council and to the manager's office a possible location at the North Common to honor Bo in his career. You know, he was a New England Golden Gloves champ. He has recently passed away, and I think it'd be a nice tribute to him, and then it'd be a celebration of life following the dedication of the bench. So that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rourke. Seeing no one else.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. And also, it's there's no money to the city. It'll cost. They can take care of everything. You know, from the bench and installation, as long as they get the okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 6.8, Councilor Robinson, request the city manager provide a report on the status of the Gage soccer field improvements in collaboration with Lowell Catholic, seconded by Councilor Mercia. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. This is something that I filed years past. I believe communication was established. I think they had a couple early talks, the administration and Lowell Catholic, to see if there was something that we could work out. Seeing how Councilor Mercia and Rep. Elliott, there's 50,000 earmarked specifically for, and I know they're leaning towards that as well. And again, it's I think where Lowell Catholic heavily utilizes that field, they bring a lot of people into the neighborhood, which is greatly appreciated. I also think this is another missed opportunity, again, based on further in the agenda, the informational report with community preservation funds. We didn't apply for any. Here's another perfect example. Maybe we could have used a little bit of this. But either way, I think two things that are missing up there is, one, a restroom facility, and for two, attention to detail and kind of just long overdue maintenance on the Gage soccer field. So anything you can come back with potentially, and if Lowell Catholic has it in their bandwidth to work with us on this, even greater. But I think it's worth having the conversation and seeing, because they seemed very open for that conversation in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 6.9, Councilor Robinson requests the city manager have the proper department examine the apple orchard site and provide a report on any concerns with proposed solutions due to the complete clearing of this location. Seconded by Councilor Noon. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. Again, I think this is a travesty. I think it was a unique situation, and I think the neighborhood is still reeling from the impacts of what occurred here. A by right, no approval required lot that was purchased privately. Luckily, we had the language in place that if you subdivide more than 3 parcels on one lot, it triggers site plan review by one of our local land use boards. Again, that's key here, local land use boards, because a lot of times you're seeing recently, local land use boards' authority is attempted to be stripped. Now, these are people, I mean, may she rest in peace, Ms. Varnum, that the community preservation or when they put a stop work order on this parcel initially, again, it was overturned by the state. The state coming down and telling a local community what's best for them once again. As a result, they went full steam ahead, and instead of clearing the parcels they're building on this property, pushed all wildlife out, decimated the entire lot, and now it seems like the developer's stalled. If I can get LTC to play the video. Now, this is within the past couple weeks coming off of that area as a result of the clearing, as you can see on your TV screens. I mean, can you play that again, please? The water running down this hill has always been a challenge, but nowhere near to this extent. And I mean, that's what happens. Reckless clear cutting a lot like that. And the neighbors are left scratching their head. We have unfinished properties built there, and how much of that parcel is just cleared, sitting empty with no real plan. And there's nothing the city can do because it's privately owned. I mean, our land use board did their job. They said, this is a wet site. We find this to be a wet site, and it was overturned, just to be clear for the people at home. So I really hope we can send our people over to do nothing more than at least take a look at this. And I hope every bit of recommendation, guideline, or restriction that's been placed on this parcel in order to move forward with the development transfers over, if that's the situation we're facing right now. Because as you can see, this can lead to a real nightmare. I mean, I don't even know how they're going to shore this up after clear cutting the whole parcel. And now, what do you do with 80% of the parcel being flattened and trees gone, with 3 buildings that they're trying to sell that aren't even completed? So I think this really needs to be prioritized for the neighborhood, and I think we need to put our heads together and figure out how to prevent anything like this from ever happening in any part of the city ever again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 6.10, Councilor Robinson, request the city manager have the proper department provide a detailed report on the percentage as well as dollar amount increase for all ordinance employees over the past 4 years. Seconded by Councilor McDonough. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. I mean, the motion pretty much speaks for itself. I know they are working on it, and it will be coming out in a week or 2 tops with all this information. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because we are obviously heading right into budget season, and the sooner we can get this to digest it, the better. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 6.11, Councilor Robinson, Councilor McDonough, request the city manager have the proper department provide a detailed report on the city's plan to support and address ongoing challenges in our Jam Summer Street area. No second needed. Councilor McDonough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a feeling that my colleague and I are going to have very different interpretations of this motion that we've put in jointly. But I'm going to start by saying, obviously, every year, right, the snow melts, this area becomes a problem. Even when there's snow, this area can be a problem. It can be a problem for residents, business owners, someone dropping their kid off at the charter school, any number of, for a whole number of reasons. I think some within the city's control, some well without, outside the city's kind of locus of control here. The top of the list for me, and this came out of a neighborhood meeting months ago, and I think the feasibility is going to take time, but things like lighting on Jackson Street, one side of Jackson Street has streetlights. The opposite side of the street, on the old mill number 5 charter school side, does not have streetlights, and so that side winds up darker. That's also the side with the alleys and the kind of weird cut unders at the charter school. So it also just the trash bins In the springtime, they tend to fill up even faster. A lot of people walk their dogs there. We wind up with a lot of dog waste. We wind up with a lot of other items, and it spills out all over the place. And then just the ongoing issue, and it's less of a problem once we hit the summer, but then when September rolls around, we'll be dealing with it. And so while the motion's here, I thought I'd bring it up. It's just the ongoing difficulty with the combination of parking, the charter school drop-off lane, and the general congestion on Jackson Street that arises there with the double to triple parking. And I know there's a number of other issues as well, but those are really the ones that I hear the most consistently from residents on the street. So thank you.
Thank you, Council McDonough. Council Robinson?
Thank you. Along with the many issues that Councilor McDonough just kind of laid out, it's no different. Every year we can anticipate the challenges we're going to face in this area. We're already starting to see, since ice out, an increase of 30, 40 people hanging behind the Hafner's gas station now, congregating. We've had a business window broken again down there, where the council is receiving complaints and emails again from Bishop Markham residents explaining that the unruliness is back again. You know, we've approached this many different ways, and the one piece in particular, it breaks my heart to read every time when we have residents reaching out about the Bishop Markham. We've brought people in for conversations, expressed. I don't know how frequently we've sent in inspectors to look, and then I'm also hearing the inspectors go in if there's one or two minor violations. They notify the organization. The organization jumps and addresses them, rightfully so, and 2 days later it's back again. I don't know what the solution is here, but I do know, again, to have residents reaching out, explaining widespread prostitution inside the hallways of this facility, again, the open drug use inside this building, all of these things that the residents keep complaining. I know it's technically not on city property, it's within the confines of this location, but there has to be a working compromise that we can work with this organization, because they've shown the willingness to address these issues. I don't, again, I'll repeat this, I don't know what the solution is, and we have a precinct that sits empty in the middle of this troubled area. What can we do to staff that? I mean, in any compromise that you can wrap your head around working with this organization would be greatly appreciated, because it's only going to get worse with the warm weather here. We're seeing the influx. In no time, we'll be getting the pools ready and teaching swim lessons at this location. I know there's some potential positive news in the pipeline coming for this area, and we're seeing it slowly but surely. But in the meantime, it's a tough sell to anybody that wants to come in and invest and help us reinvigorate this stretch. You take a walk down there sometimes, and it's very discouraging. And I'm not going to point my finger and say what this magic bullet or magic solution looks like, but I'm trying to draw attention to something that we've been seeing for the past 4 or 5 years at least, and it's coming back. It's starting to rear its ugly head, and the emails are starting to come back. So any help is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Manager Golden?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. To the councilors, I'm sorry, Councilor Leon. I did speak with Superintendent Hudon in regards to this, and although obviously the proof is what they've been doing, our NRU unit, which is our neighborhood response unit, throughout the last year has made 336 arrests just in this area alone. So we have been active, our LPD is doing a fine job. I don't want to talk about the recidivism and the recycling and things everything else that seems to be always happening, but Lowell Housing Authority has actually partnered with LPD and given additional monies in and around the Bishop Markham area. We encourage all the residents to please call us to let us know what's going on. Without really getting into it, there are a couple of folks on the list that they know that could be potentially problem tenants, and I'm making an assumption that LHA is doing what they need to do through the process, through courts and et cetera. But the repeat calls, it is helpful. So to the residents, I've read exactly, Councilor, what every councilor in the May has read from the residents. But our LPD is really doing a great job doing this, making this happen. We do know this, and just for the edification of the residents, that is one of the first stops, I think, every morning from our downtown team that is in the Jackson, Apple, and Middlesex Street area to make sure it is clean, and it is because of the population. So you're right. I don't know the answers yet myself, but I just wanted to point out that Lowell Housing Authority and LPD have been working together, and not just working together, talking about it. Lowell Housing Authority is actually coming up with monies to try to bring in what I would say is overtime offices to do making sure people aren't where they're supposed to be. Let me put it that way. So that partnership is moving. It has been happening. I do fear, Council, exactly what you said in this area. We just are going to continue to have our NRU unit, the Neighborhood Response Unit, and the LPD as a whole is doing, in my opinion, a great job. Our co-op team is over there on a very regular basis as well, trying to accomplish some of those goals. And quite frankly, our co-op team does great. But it still has we still have an issue where people drop folks off here. So that's where we're at right now. I can make this more of a formal, formal response to this motion with lighting on Jackson and trash cans. We have talked about additional trash cans if that could happen. We have reached out to our shelter to see if they can re-engage their green team again to try to get ahead of that before the spring. So that is all happening, and we'll try to get a response in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. And I mean, at the end of the day, though, the precinct sits empty. Is that something we're going to try to look to staff? Because, and another thing people have to be mindful of is, too, a lot of the residents that live in this building, they don't want to call the police because of fear. They don't want to be that neighbor that gets identified by whoever's causing whatever in there as the person telling. And so a lot of times these complaints are going unreported. You get one or two that are brave enough to send something out and they don't see results. And so that's the frustrating part on our end. And if, I mean, has LPD and Lowell Housing reached out to state partners? I mean, if you have drug dealing activity going on within the facility, is it to the point where you notify up the chain of command and begin that kind of process like we had to do over in the Brent Street area? I mean, I don't know what the solutions or the proper protocol within that organization is, but I think we need to do more than we've been doing. And I know we're all trying here, and I do agree, LPD has religiously been doing everything they can in that area. And I have to say, Lowell Housing has been more than receptive and willing to work with us. So I'm sure if we stay at it, there'll be a solution that we can come up with to help these people that are living in there. Thank you.
Mr. Manager. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through you to the council. Council, you're correct, but I want to just clarify on the precinct piece. A lot of the precincts are there just to write reports. We've tried to work with Middlesex Community College and Mass Lowell in years past to have them manned, if you would, and that's still a thought that has been going through. But typically, an officer, Superintendent Huron actually pushes them out. You know, those places in the precinct are there to write reports, talk to people, et cetera, like that. So sometimes when they're not seeing somebody manning it or sitting in it, we actually have those folks, those direct officers, driving in that area, making those arrests. So that's one piece that I think is important to note. Once again, we did try it. We did try it with criminal justice students. It wasn't working, and we'll give it a shot again. But to that point, I just wanted to bring that up so the edification of the residents. But I cannot stress enough. I cannot stress enough to residents that are not feeling safe. Simply call my office. We don't need names. We just need addresses, and we just need what's happening. And of course, if anybody feels unsafe, immediately just to call 911. There is no tracking mechanism that your neighbor's going to know about. So I can't stress enough that if people are feeling unsafe, we need to hear about it. The 311 system is, once again, we've only scratched the surface on what 311 is going to do for us in the future. But, and I've heard it, Counselor, and I understand, and I hear you loud and clear. People are very concerned sometimes. We're not tracking. Call my office. We don't track. We'll just take care of it. So,
Councilor Liang.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, Councilor Robinson, and thank you, Madonna, for this motion. I've been working in that area for over 20 years. I know the challenges that's happening over there, and I don't have any solution, but I can tell you there's a lot of stuff that's going on there. Especially, I do have concerns about being in front of the health center, and also there's a school there as well, especially when the children goes in and out. I also do have a friend that owns a business there, and sometimes she has to clean up feces and stuff like that, really in that neighborhood. So I don't have any solution, but I can say that when the weather gets warmer, you're going to have a lot of people there that I guess use the arch area, use places to sleep there, and as well, it's not really safe, especially when nights fall and people have to walk around. And Bishop, Markham Place also, is one of the concerns that's been happening for a while. I mean, for me, I'm glad that we're talking about this, because it's been a problem in the area for quite some time, and you can name it. But at the same time, I know that Jackson Street is going to be in a process of, upgrade and working. But that also could be a minus for us as well, because it's going to make it look pretty and it welcoming, and so therefore it's going to be inviting a lot of other folks going there as well. So I don't have any solution, but I'm just saying that I'm happy that we're talking about this. Maybe something or someone out there can give us a really good solution on this challenges.
Thank you, Councilor Yang. Councilor McDonough.
Thank you. And just in addition to my earlier comments, I thank the manager and the whole administration for the work that has already been done here, and that sounds to be is starting to be done again. I do also want to thank the administration, and I think it's a good idea maybe that we think about doing this early this year. Last fall, inspectional services hit a whole number of convenience stores in the Jam area for selling a laundry list of things they're not allowed to sell. And I think at the time there was a warning assigned, and there was also some fees assigned. But maybe if we thought about doing like a preemptive reminder warning as we head into business season here, so that we're able to whack them. And you already whack them, and then the other piece on inspectional services, and my love for inspectional services is remarkably the dumpster issue. And I understand that well, Jam, what does this have to do with it? Well, we do have people sleeping in alleyways, and fairly recently a man was killed by a trash truck at, I think it was like 5:30 in the morning. Where he lay sleeping. And part of the reason he's sleeping there does have to do with, there are city policies that we're not talking about tonight, but part of the reason that man lost his life, in addition to where he was sleeping, is that trash truck was 2 hours early for their pickup. There was no reason that man should have felt like he was going to get hit by a trash truck. And I know the assistant city manager has been working pretty diligently on that, so it has there's a double piece there. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McDonough. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 6.12, Councilor Robinson, Councilor McDonough, request the city manager contact our National Golden Glove partners to establish a collaborative work group with the council's Economic Development Subcommittee. No second needed. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we've been talking, next year we host the National Golden Gloves Tournament, and I know there's already been a lot of work underway. Keith Rudy has been at the gloves, working, promoting, doing everything he can to help the organization. I frequent a lot of the restaurants and establishments in downtown, and just having conversations with some of the owners. In particular, I remember a conversation I had recently with the owner of Fuse, and I was explaining about we're going to be hosting the National Golden Glove Tournament next year, and how it's going to be very exciting. Yeah, up to potentially 3,000 people a day in the city to enjoy this. It's a major event, and they weren't really familiar with it. So I explained, the city's trying to put together a team to work with small business owners and everybody that wants to help out to help accommodate this surge of people coming in for this activity. And she was very receptive. Immediately said, me and my staff are more than willing to do whatever it takes. If it's early breakfasts for the groups, if it's late dinners for the groups, everything in between for the group, you say the word. So I think that kind of spurred this motion to where, can we put together a think tank working with our economic development team, subcommittee, and the rest of the council, and start plugging away and try to lock down some of these relationships that are going to be desperately needed way ahead of schedule, because, before we know it, the tournament will be here. And there's a lot of legwork that has to be done, and we can't reasonably expect DPD or economic development alone to lift this. That's a huge task for a couple small offices that are already tasked with a lot of work. So anything we can do to work with our local community partners to help facilitate everything that's needed, I think this provides a great opportunity to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Councilor McDonough.
Yeah, there's very little to say that my colleague has not already said. I would just add that this administration has done a fairly good job at working with our small business community, and I think continuing that, and also looking forward at ways that we can improve. And the one thing that I have heard consistently, and I think you're always going to hear, but it doesn't mean we can't try to be better, is just lead time. Lead time for the businesses in preparing for whatever the event is, and understanding the full scope of increased traffic or kind of type of client, like having a better understanding of whoever the sponsoring party is, especially with something like National Golden Gloves, which is it's a longer, right? And so just working with the businesses and figuring out, when is it worth changing something in your normal operation here to take full advantage, and having the lead time in order to get that planned on the business end. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McDonough. Councilor Robinson.
And again, I know it's something that we've brought up before, and it's not anywhere near, but I'm just trying to say, I think the top floor of that Market Street parking garage would be a hell of a kickoff event location for us in the downtown for the Golden Gloves. So something to keep in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 6.14, Councilor McDonough. Request the city manager have the appropriate department provide the council with a report outlining the details of the contract between Flock Group, Inc. and the City of Lowell. This report should include the total number of license plate readers, any data sharing provisions, and any updates to the functions of the Flock devices, and any changes to the data sharing and/or data security policies of the Flock Group or the City of Lowell since the start of the contract. Seconded by Councilor Noon. Councilor McDonough.
There is a registered speaker, Mr. Mayor.
We got a registered speaker.
Ron Peachtree.
Before I start, something I'm going to reference from the beginning of this meeting. The Tuskegee Airmen were even more exceptional than you
Can
guys.
we just state our name? And
I'm
have it
sorry, I
record?
thought I did that already. They said Ron Peachtree. I'm Ron Peachtree.
He says it, but you have to say it.
Okay, Ron Peachtree, 240 Beacon Street, and I know more than half of you. In any event, and earlier this evening we talked about the Tuskegee Airmen. The Tuskegee Airmen were even more exceptional than was mentioned. They literally changed the way we guided bombers in the Pacific Theater, and they are credited with shortening the war in the Pacific by 2 years. Okay? And they could not drink from the same public fountains in their home country. They weren't allowed to eat in the restaurants. The Japanese Americans who were fighting in the other thing and were the highest awarded regiment in World War II were coming from places like Manzanar while that was going on. And that, so much did these people believe in the republic that we live in, that they went and fought for it even though they were being treated like that. And that brings us to this. I've been somebody who does complex systems my entire life, most of them involving hardware and software. Flock is a combination of CCT cameras, distributed networking technology, pattern recognition and facial recognition technology, and artificial intelligence. The existence of that tool allowed us to trace the shooter who was responsible for the Brown University shootings and then came here and killed a university professor from MIT in about 1/10 the time it took us to track down the Zanias brothers when the Boston Marathon happened. That's this technology being used in a good way. In a bad way, because there are currently no oversight, no regulations, no checks and balances on this technology whatsoever. It's been used by the state of Texas to track women who leave the state for reproductive health care, and when they come back, prosecute them. It's been used by municipalities in Kansas to go after transgender people and violate their rights. It's been used, unfortunately, a lot by Immigration and Customs Enforcement to go after anybody whose skin is darker than a brown paper bag. That's because it should be treated like wiretaps, like body cams. It is part of our law enforcement system. It should have the same checks and balances. So not only do I support what you're doing, I think it needs to be stronger. We need to understand what are they doing to make sure that these systems are accurate. It's been caught with mistakes. There are no laws, regulations, or anything making sure that the results they get are checked or that are accurate or whatever. And the way it's being used right now, when it's being misused, is as dangerous as a automatic weapon being put in the hands of a convicted violent felon with white supremacist tendencies. We have got to put regulation on this. If we can't do it at the state level, which, yes, I am involved in that, we at least need to do so here at the municipal level. We are a city of immigrants. We are a city that is a melting pot. And if that technology had been in use when the Tuskegee Airmen were around, they wouldn't have lived long enough to become the Tuskegee Airmen. So, I hope I made my point.
Thank you, Mr. Peachtree. Council McDonough.
Thank you. I was actually gonna say the motion speaks for itself. I want to just add for a little bit of color here. There's been a renewed interest in the Flock contracts. I've been looking at this for probably about 2 months without putting anything in. And in that time, I think a number of other communities have also started to take a look at old agreements. I think similar, actually, to where we wound up with the data center from 10 years ago. It's just the rate that technology grows now. It took 10 years for the data center to become an issue that we wanted to look at. It took about 2 for Flock to be an issue that we might want to evaluate. I think that given the renewed interest and what I believe is an automatic renewal in the Flock contract, this is just to give the council the opportunity, the public the opportunity, and the administration the opportunity to just look at this agreement and see if it's yeah, I was gonna say I know it's very difficult to find. I got several people actually had forwarded me several open records requests for information. I can see when we signed. I have not been able to find the actual contract, but I can see the RFP and I can see that the police department have it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the council. We can send that to you. It's sometimes getting in and around the city website is a little challenging, but we can send that to you.
Thank you, Councilor McDonough. Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank Speaker Ron for speaking up on this. I know that a number of people expressed concern on this question around is there oversight or lack of, and then looking at regulation and accountability on this. You know, there's, is there something in place to prevent someone from using this technology for a private vendetta? Can someone, so those kind of questions come up, to see, Ron spoke of, there's a good thing about this technology, but also some can be used, to go after someone for, not the right way. So I think it is important that we, having whatever contract we have with this organization, with this group, that we have to look at that oversight and accountability on this.
Manager Golden?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through to the council. There's been a lot of questions about flock, so if I could come back with the report, we'll make sure that we're reaching out to them. I don't want to speak about something, especially on the cybersecurity world. My initial reaction is it shouldn't be, but I want to make sure that we can double check that.
Councilor Robinson?
Thank you. Part of that report you come back with, will you be able to carve out who's ultimately responsible for some of these safeguards and protections that were being presented here? Would it be local, state, federal? I don't know who even governs this, because it is a statewide thing. It's a current push that you're seeing other communities enter into. But as far as the regulations and safeguards go, I'm not sure if that's on a local level as opposed to state or even federal, because you're talking about closed circuit cameras and law enforcement monitoring. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Councilor Yang?
I just have an additional question to this while we're talking about technologies. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the city manager. As a city, do we use AI professionally?
Manager Golden?
Tricky question. Yes. We use AI on Microsoft. We've used it when people are here for not tracking events, but numbers events. Like, for instance, and I'm going to do this and I shouldn't, but I think that Winterfest brought in 12,000 people. And we knew that because of what I would refer to as AI. So the answer is yes, but not for the purposes of, I suppose, tracking people coming in yet. That's
right,
a yes to
right.
that. But not in a way that I think is nefarious. But I think from the flock, because I've read a lot of concerns with flock, with the questions that Councilor Noonan just brought up, we'll get back to you. I know why we use it. I know why the city uses it from the police department's standpoint, and it's very successful, quite frankly. But where does that information go? I think we need to kind of ferret that out a little bit more, a little bit deeper, as to see what flock is doing with that information.
So
that answers your question, I hope.
We don't have any additional contract with any other AI company, right?
Additional AI company, I think I may refer to MIS on that to find out what MIS could possibly be doing with some of our computer stuff. I definitely know that with our cyber breach, cybersecurity, and things of that nature, we're using a whole bunch of firewalls. Every one of you that have signed into a city hall computer, it's been a little bit difficult. So I don't know if that's going to terminate as AI, but I'll find out from MIS.
Thank you.
Councilor McDonough?
Thank you. Just to follow up on Councilor Robinson's question, and also kind of what I'm aiming for here in the motion, is I agree with Councilor Robinson. I don't know that we really have all that much room on the regulatory front, but I think the answers to the questions about what Flock is or is not doing with the data that they are able to collect through their contract with LPD, and I also want to be clear, I don't think LPD is being nefarious with the use of the Flock cameras either, but the way that these data nets work, right, is that presumably depending on the wording in our contract and whatever, what Flock does with that data is, I think, the open question, and it's not so much a regulatory question as it is, I'm sure there's another, if the data security of our residents in the city was a question, I'm quite certain there's another license plate reading company that can provide the service without the data net, so thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If we could, as part of the answer to the motion, I guess, is to look at what other towns are doing within Massachusetts. I did come across information on Watertown, and it says that the information from the flock is encrypted and stored on a secure system only accessible to the Watertown Police Department. And then they have a policy within the town that it is shared within only Massachusetts with police departments per, an independent review of what they're asking for. And it is not shared at all with immigration or any federal agencies. So that's a policy that's done by Watertown. So I'm assuming it's a policy that we could have here in Lowell as well, to protect people. So thank you.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered.
Mr. Mayor, could I ask for a suspension of the rules to take up motion response E on 7.1 motion responses, please?
Oh, yeah, you did that just before my motion.
I know, I
like
did it on
that.
purpose. I actually did.
Motion by Councilor Dakota to take motion response E, Campbell Drive, out of order, seconded by Councilor Noon. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Councilor Dakota.
Thank you. I know that we have Mr. Beatty from the engineer's office to say a few words. If I could have him come up to the lectern.
Good evening, David Beatty, City Engineer's Office. Be happy to take any questions.
Before you say anything, there's a registered speaker before you.
Ryan Ferrara.
We have a registered speaker. They go before you.
All right, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager, members of the council, my name is Ryan Faria. I come here speaking as a resident of Campbell Drive and as the chair of the Highlands Neighborhood Association, who's being reached out to by many neighbors on Campbell Drive asking kind of what's going on here. So over the last several months, I know I've worked with Mr. Beatty in the engineering office. I know he was out back in September doing some surveys. We met at the Bailey School with some of the principals from the Bailey and the Daily trying to figure out how to improve things. The sidewalks came up. And over the last month or so, I've been trying to get information on the record transparently what the plans are. I've asked for blueprints and sketches of the sidewalk, where it will go in relation to property lines, to ease concerns that neighbors have about land loss or impacts to irrigation and fences. I've asked if there's going to be any utilities that will be impacted by this project, what type of sidewalks will be implemented, whether it's stamped concrete or blacktop. Will the existing sidewalk that runs from Westchester to St. Paul be upgraded, or will it look different than the new sidewalk? What is the anticipated start date and end date of this type of construction? How early in the day would construction commence? How late in the day would it run through? And will the full road be getting paved in conjunction with the sidewalk install? I believe that answer I got in the infrastructure, the 5-year infrastructure motion disclosure. So I guess, I'm hoping to get something. The engineering office has been helpful in answering questions, but what I'm really looking for is a detailed motion response that answers all those questions and not just says, hey, we're going to have a meeting on April 2nd. Because I think transparency leads to accountability and knowledge, whereas a lack of transparency leads to speculation and people not knowing what's going on. So if we can get that, that would be greatly helpful. I am intrigued to hear what Mr. Beatty has to say tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Beatty.
So I'm not really sure where to start, Ryan. With respect to all the questions that you alluded to in the email, I don't have that in front of me.
Mr. Beatty, can you address the council, not the audience, please?
Sure. So we put together a conceptual site plan, not a construction plan, but just a conceptual exhibit plan with an approximate quantity estimate for sidewalk construction, the addition of vertical granite curb on both sides of Campbell Drive, with no paving scheduled to date. It's strictly a sidewalk contract at this particular point. All this information was going to be and will be I will inform everybody at the meeting next week over at the Bailey School with all this information. Do you have any other questions? Does anybody else have any questions about Campbell? The specifics of the particular
Mr. Beatty,
contract.
you're taking over my job.
Sorry.
I like it, but we'll go to Council Dakota. Just stay there a minute. If someone has a question, they'll get to you.
Yep.
Council Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just looking forward to next Thursday's meeting. I'm sure it'll be well attended. I know Ms. Altman is putting a flyer out. Just make sure that all the neighbors will be aware of the meeting at 6:30 at the Bailey School next Thursday night. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? I just have one question, if it's okay, from the body. Mr. Manager, could we have a copy of the stuff prior to the meeting so that we could digest some of it, so that people can have real questions rather than sit there trying to flip through what you read every day, an engineering report, versus what somebody, a real resident, would read. If we can just provide that to the Highlands Neighborhood Group, also to Councilor Dakota and the City Council, just so that we have maybe a few days in advance. Councilor Chow, I'm sure, is extremely interested too in that. So if we could just provide it to the council and to just whatever's going to be presented. So if we can have the packet maybe a week in advance, 2 days, whatever you're going to do in advance.
Okay.
Thank you.
Will do.
Thank you, Mr. Beatty. All in favor signify by saying aye. Motion to accept and place on file.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Dakota, seconded by Councilor Noon. Councilor Robinson.
Can we please take, under suspension of the rules, VHB, Father Morissett and French Street improvements informational out of order, please?
Motion to take 7.2 information report, VHB, Father Morissett and French Street improvements out of order by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Rourke. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Mr. Manager. Or is there a registered speaker?
I don't think so, nope.
There's no registered speaker. Okay, from VHB?
Hi, yes, Josh Triarchis from VHB. Thank you. I've been requested to give a brief overview of the scope of the project for the Father Morissett and French Street Improvements Project. My company, VHB, was retained by the city to redesign French Street and Father Morissett Boulevard from Bridge Street to University Ave. The goals of the project were to create a complete streets or multimodal corridor that focus on not just vehicles, but also pedestrians, bikes, and transit accommodations, improve safety for all modes of transportation, improve aesthetics and lighting, and update and modernize the existing intersection controls. What I'm going to focus on tonight is just the phase one portion of the project. Due to funding and design constraints, the project was split into two phases. Phase one from Bridge Street to Arcan Drive, and then from Arcan Drive to University Ave. So this portion of the project that is intended to start construction this spring will be the phase one from Bridge Street to Arcan Drive. Under existing conditions, French Street and through Father Morissett up to Arcan Drive is a single lane in both directions with wide travel lanes, sidewalks on both sides, but very limited bike accommodations. And given the location of Lowell High School, Boarding House Park, this is a very heavily pedestrian travel area. And with the reconstruction of the high school and working with the city engineering department, this was really an opportunity to modernize and improve the corridor along this stretch. So the scope of work along this corridor includes a reconstruction of the intersection of Arcan Drive at Father Morissett Boulevard with a new roundabout style intersection to replace the existing traffic signal. It also includes a traffic signal reconstruction of the existing pedestrian signal between the parking garage and Lowell High School, as well as removal of the existing traffic signal at French Street and John Street and replace that with a four-way stop-controlled intersection, and then reconstruct the signalized intersection of French Street at Bridge Street. The project also includes new lighting system. This would be new ornamental street lights, as well as removing and resetting some of the existing smaller pedestrian-style ornamental streetlights. The project overall will also include new full-depth pavement reconstruction, new drainage reconstruction and drainage improvements, updated landscaping, including street trees and shrub areas, new cement concrete sidewalks. There'll be a hot mix asphalt shared use path for both pedestrians and bicycles along the full length of the corridor, as well as raised crosswalks at two locations in front of the high school, again, just to improve safety for pedestrians and students crossing in this area. The project was bid in July of 2005. The bids were opened in August of 2005 and awarded to Newport Construction for $7.81 million. Notice to proceed was given in October of the last year. We are looking to break ground in the next few weeks. There's already been a few, I think borings were completed in the last week or two. Test pits will be happening soon. We were hoping to start earlier, but this winter was certainly a difficult one with the snow. So looking to start in the next few weeks. As far as coordination, we've set up biweekly meetings with the contractor, really looking to try to do as much as we can to work in and around the high school, as well as Boarding House Park with the Lowell Summer Music Series, and of course the Lowell Folk Festival. So trying to work with the contractor in their base schedule to make sure as much of the work that can be done during the upcoming summer will be in and around the high school area while school is out of session. And then ideally looking to do the work along French Street in front of Boarding House Park in the fall and the winter months to avoid both the Folk Festival and the Summer Music Series that happened over the weekends. So with that, I will open it up to any questions.
Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. Looks like a great project. I just have one question. Reading this, Father Morissett, Lowell High School, it says no work during school year that disrupts access for buses or vehicular pickup drop-offs without advance written approval. So I'd imagine we've already gotten written approval from the high school on, because as was just mentioned, we'll be breaking ground shortly. And so I'd imagine the approval is in place for this?
We're not looking to do any work at the moment directly in front of the high school. I believe the intent is to start at the Bridge Street and French Street intersection and do that work first. So if, again, like I mentioned, we're trying to work with the contractor to do the work in front of the high school over the summer. If for some reason work has to happen during school time, we will work with the high school to make sure we get approval.
Thank you. And I'm just glad to see that this is already, it's clearly spelled out with the Folk Festival, Summer Music Series, everything, because that area is very busy, as we all know, but greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Councilor Juran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just two quick questions for the speaker, through you to the speaker. There was the presentation talked about ornamental lighting, and so I just wanted to get a sense of what that lighting will be and how bright it will be, because that's an important piece of urban safety.
I believe the intent is the lights that were recently just used on the Lord Overpass along Thorndike Street. The taller street lights, like the black ornamental, it will be that same style around the Father Morissett section at the Arcan Drive intersection with the roundabout.
Okay.
And then on French Street, the existing historic style, smaller lights that are out there with the double heads on them, those will be reused in that stretch.
And do you think those will be bright enough and provide enough?
Yes, we did have a lighting consultant that provided.
Okay, thank you. And then the other question was just about the roundabout. I know that's now a common approach to deal with traffic, but just curious how the decision was made, what the value is.
Yeah, we did do a traffic analysis on it, and it did have a better capacity and level of service compared to a signalized intersection. And then just from a safety perspective, they're generally rated as a safer style of intersection.
Thank you.
Councilor McDonough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one question for the speaker, or just a point of awareness, I guess, is building off what Councilor Robinson had asked about notifying the high school, is that because we don't have school buses, bus drop-off and all that isn't actually in front of the high school, and then just making sure that the LRTA is aware of any impacts to all of the bus staging that goes on Kirk and John and I think 3 other streets in that area. And just, that's all. Thank you.
Yes, we did have a number of meetings with the high school regarding bus pickup and drop-off and understanding the use. So we'll certainly, there's going to be impacts. Again, we're trying to do as much work as we can over the summer to avoid that. But any work that's happening along that stretch, we'll make sure we coordinate with the high school.
Thank you, Councilor McDonough. Councilor Yang.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As one person who helped write the Complete Street policy a while back ago, I'm happy to see that Complete Street multimodal is happening, and also I'm very happy and excited that the Father Morissett's bike lanes and corridor is actually coming to fruition. So I'm really happy to see this, and especially utilizing the Complete Street policy that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Chow, seconded by Councilor Dakota. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Go back to the motion portion of the agenda. 6.15. Mayor Gitschier, request the city clerk record all executive session minutes by audio. Seconded by Councilor Noon. Anybody wishing to speak on the motion? Councilor Juran.
I just had a question about that and whether, I mean, I kind of probably understand the reason for that, but it might be helpful to hear the maker of the motion give the reasons for that. And in some ways, I'd like to actually understand the pros and cons of it. So I might want to sort of, offer an amendment to the motion.
Is that okay with everyone if I speak from up here? I think that if we just wait for the motion response, whether it's legal or not, then we could have that discussion. I think that's probably what the key is, to try to get the motion response.
Thank you. I wasn't clear from the motion whether you were looking for a response or just an actual moving forward. Okay.
Just
Thank
a
you.
motion response. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. .16, Mayor Gitschier, request the city manager look into adding the Tiny Tots program back to the summer youth program offered by the city's recreation department. Seconded by Councilor McDonough.
There's a registered speaker, Mr.
We have a registered speaker.
She's on Zoom, right?
I don't know.
Vice Mayor Noon, if you would like to come up, then I will. Thank you.
I was told she's on Zoom.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Noon. Mr. Manager, when we start getting into tough budgets, I get that there are some places that we look to make a difference in some of the monies, but in my opinion, and I don't know who I'm speaking for, who I'm not speaking for, but cutting from these places is extremely tough on families. Last year we had the 4- and 5-year-old program. We also cut an hour out of the Shed Park piece. I think it's a penny wise, pound foolish in a lot of ways, just because this is the lowest income people in our city who are looking for, and I'll say, a childcare at some point. And it gives kids an opportunity to get out of the house. It also gives some of the youth in our city a position to have a job that right now is very hard to get with the older society taking jobs at Market Basket or other areas in the city. And when I look at this and you see the families who have reached out, there are numerous families who are calling, asking that this be put back together because they already planned their childcare for this year, and they just really opened it up, and here it is, and that was part of what their planning was for the summer. So if there's any way that we can dive back into this piece and see if we can put this back in place and add that hour, at least for this year. And if we're going to plan to do that, then we should probably look in the September, October area to just give people a heads up for childcare purposes. But I do think that we're hitting the people who need us the most in the hardest times. And I think that that's the hard part to take, is that people really look forward to these programs. It's child engagement, and maybe there are other areas that we can just look at to try to find these funds to make this program work for the summer. Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I have to concur with the mayor. I have received quite a few calls in the last 2 days concerning this program, and more than anything, what the mayor just said was people have already gotten their plans for the summer, and this has really thrown a wrench in their plans. I know this is a very difficult budget season, Mr. Manager, but if you can pull a little bit of magic out of your hat, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Seeing no one else wishing to speak, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Chow.
Can we take these two items are related, can we take these two items, 8.4 and 9.1, out of order?
8.4 and 9.1?
Yes.
Motion by Councilor Chow to take 8.4 and 9.1 out of order, seconded by Councilor Dakota. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 8.4, vote establishing solid waste and recycling enterprise fund. Waive full reading and second reading by title. Just got to give us a second because we have it organized a little bit different. Vote authorizing the establishment of an enterprise fund for solid waste and recycling to be known as the Solid Waste and Recycling Enterprise Fund. Any questions on the motion? Motion to adopt by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Chow.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor
I missed
Chow?
your last comment. Could I make a comment on
Yeah.
on 8.4 and 9.4, 9.1? It's related, and
8.4 is the one before us. Okay.
Thank you, Councilor. I figured to turn on the microphone myself. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do understand the fiscal reality this year, the challenge, and we do have an award-winning CFO here in the city, and Mr. Manager worked very, very hard to balance everything. I just have a lot of concerns about having 8.4 voted forward tonight. I see that 9.4 with the actual vote for the ordinance is have a public hearing on April 7, and I feel that there ought to be more discussion, some more public input. As the mayor mentioned before, and Councilor Dakota about the daycare, these things, I know there's different fee structure for residents, for landlord, local, and landlord, there's so many different degrees of small landlord, local landlord, and investors outside. And whatever the fees that we are going to do is going to affect many of the low-income residents in the city. In my district, it's about 60% renters, and many of these fees will get passed down to real renters. So, I'm in support of budget that you guys are the real experts here, but I think I would like to have some public input to it. If the actual ordinance is going to have public hearing, I was wondering if it doesn't affect the schedule for the budget for this year, to have the on 8.4 to establish the solid waste and recycling enterprise fund, maybe to refer it to the finance subcommittee and the neighborhood subcommittee, to have a discussion first, to hear what everybody's thinking, just have public input on it, if it doesn't affect any other, the budget agenda, so to speak.
CFO Baldwin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And if I may elaborate, I think I understand the question and the concerns. So as a procedural matter, there are two votes that are before the council. One is the first reading for an ordinance. The fees for solid waste and recycling are codified in the ordinance. So a change to the fee structure under the rules of the city council requires a public hearing. So before you is the first reading. The action would be to refer that to a public hearing. The other vote, the vote that is in front of the council right now as we speak, is 8.4, the establishment of a solid waste and recycling enterprise fund. That is a strategy by the administration to set the cost of the operation commensurate with the fees coming in, like we have for water and sewer, and we've attempted to do and are working towards for parking, but that is the essence of the enterprise fund statute. The point is, if the body were to refer the vote on the establishment of the enterprise fund to be concurrent with the public hearing on the fee, that makes a lot of sense, and is not a problem budgetarily, or would not negatively affect the plan as it's as our strategy for FY 2027. What I will mention on the, and I know it's not the matter at hand, but on the ordinance, one of the reasons why the ordinance is before the council now and not with the budget is because we bill for the solid waste and recycling fee at the same time as the water and sewer billing, and that is behind by a period, like a 3-month lag. So in order to collect on a full year's worth of fees in FY 2027, the council would need to revise the fee before the April billing is issued. And so, you know, that is tied to the ordinance, not necessarily the enterprise fund. The enterprise fund vote just needs to happen before the budget takes place. So the vote would establish it beginning in FY 2027, July 1st, 2026. So not to further complicate the matter, I hope that addresses your question and the timing of both of those separate votes on the ordinance and the enterprise fund. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for allowing me the time.
No, that answered perfectly and clarifying that, especially for the time frame. I know we're on a schedule towards this is the budget season. So it does sound to me like if we can postpone the vote on 8.4 to on the same day as the public hearing, so the public can come in, maybe speak on the item more, get the input together. I would like to make that motion just to postpone that, if that is the right language to the public hearing.
A motion by Councilor Chow to postpone 8.4, the establishment of solid waste and recycling enterprise fund until April 7th.
Second.
Second by Councilor Dakota. Roll call, Mr. Clerk. I would take a roll.
Could I ask a question?
Yes, Councilor Juran.
Thank you. If I understood the CFO, Mr. Baldwin, correctly, if we postpone 8.4 until the April 7th public hearing date, that means that the bills for this quarter or next quarter, whichever quarter, will not be going out with the new rates, even if they, did I misunderstand? And therefore, well, and my assumption, let me just play it through, and my assumption therefore is that what you were expecting to, the city to gain in revenue would not then be achieved for that quarter. So I just wanted to understand sort of the interplay of the timing given the quarters. Thank you.
CFO Baldwin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. To clarify, if the vote is postponed until the public hearing, that does not impact the collection of the fees. I guess what I was getting at, and I may have caused confusion when I was trying to clarify, postponement of the ordinance further beyond the April date would have that impact on the fee collection. Postponement on this vote to establish the enterprise fund would not. So I perfectly understand the rationale and opportunity to give the public more time to digest it and maybe to come down to speak on the public hearing on both matters. That will not impact negatively the collections for FY27. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you.
Roll call.
Council Chow.
Yes.
Council Dakota.
Yes.
Council Gitschier, Mayor Gitschier.
No.
Council Juran.
No.
Council Liang.
No.
Council McDonough.
Yes.
Council Mercia.
No.
Council Noon.
No.
Council Robinson.
No.
Council Rourke.
No.
Council Scott.
No.
Motion fails.
Roll call on the original motion.
Motion to adopt.
We already had it, right? It was Councilor Chow and Councilor Rourke. Roll call.
Council Chow.
Yes.
Council Dakota.
Yes.
Mayor Gitschier.
Yes.
Council Juran.
Yes.
Council Liang.
Yes.
Council McDonough.
Yes.
Council Mercia.
Yes.
Council Noon.
Yes.
Council Robinson.
Yes.
Council Rourke.
Yes.
Council Scott.
Yes.
11 yeas.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. 9.1 ordinance, amend fee schedule, waste. Give first reading, motion to refer to a public hearing on April 7th, 2026 at 7 p.m.
There's a registered speaker, Mr. Ryan Faria.
Alrighty, thank you for the opportunity to speak again. Ryan Faria, Campbell Drive. I mostly had some statements and questions regarding this. When I first saw the budget proposal, I was surprised to see the $9.1 million in just hauling and disposal, because prior to the agenda coming out this week, I was looking at the December 16th, the final meeting of last year, where there was an outlook into FY27, and it had the FY25 hauling and disposal at $7.9 million. So that stood out to me as a pretty big $1.2 million jump over 2 fiscal years, which is 15%. So it made me think, when I've seen prior enterprise funds, water, sewer, and things like that, the finance team has often done 5-year outlooks. And if we have some contracts in place for hauling and disposal, it'd be intriguing to see what at least a 2 or 3 or 4 year outlook, however long those contracts are, would look like. Probably you guys know this, but just 3 years ago we paid $125 a year, and now we're going to $335. And if you are, a small landlord or any landlord, you're going up 5x from $125 to $600. So it's a pretty big jump. But I am in favor of the enterprise fund taking that rate and making it so that it is self-funding to save some money from the general fund. That makes sense to me there. A few of the questions I have pertain to some of the fees. The first one is a replacement fee of $125. All I do every Wednesday night is roll my barrel from my backyard to my front yard. I've never once broken it doing that. That the big claw that comes and picks it up is usually the cause of many barrels that break. I don't understand why there would be a fee for a resident if 95% of things are probably from the claw. Can the city look at potentially going away with that, or allowing people to have a pass every couple of years? If it's super frequent, then maybe it is their fault, but generally speaking, it's the waste management provider picking it up. Councilor Chow alluded to this, but a few people mentioned to me in the Highlands, they were surprised this was coming so quickly, but they are small landlords where they might own a duplex across the street from their house, where maybe their kids live or maybe their parents live. Are there any ability to have a small landlord waiver where if you just own a duplex, you live in the city, you're not one of the deadbeat landlords, can you get the same rate as residential? I'm sure that would impact things, but that would be great. I would love to see something presented to a neighborhood subcommittee or a finance subcommittee to allow residents to provide their feedback. Just yesterday morning when we had coffee with a cop, there were a few people who were surprised that this was coming up. They knew it was coming down the pipe from prior motion responses, but it was kind of a quick draw. And then finally, one of the things I want to make sure is, because this is an enterprise fund that's funded exclusively by tote payers, which is approximately 55 to 60% of the city, I want to be sure that it's not the city's plan to ultimately wrap in full citywide services such as the trash to pick up the parks and other things, because those services should be burdened by the general fund, which is all the taxpayers, not just the people who pay for the totes. So tote payer is a fancy word for tax, right? It just sounds less cruel. So a tote payer is a taxpayer. So those 55% shouldn't burden the things that benefit the whole city, but those 55% should burden the cost of the pickups and the disposal and the hauling. So I just want to make sure that's taken into consideration. Thanks for the time.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to speak? Councilor Rourke.
Just to be clear, this is a vote to a public hearing, so the public can come here and speak on it. Is that correct, Mr. Mayor?
Correct.
All right. Move to approve, please.
Motion by Councilor Rourke to refer to a public hearing on April 7th, 2026 at 7 p.m., seconded by Councilor Robinson. Roll call. No roll call. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Going to go back to the original. Seven, communications, 7.1, motion responses. Motion response to UNESCO. Councilor Chow, Councilor Rourke. Which one wants to go first? Councilor Chow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and great report coming back. Very, very proud, as you mentioned when we spoke, when the motion was placed by myself and Councilor Rourke. Lowell is the only city in the United States that is UNESCO Learning City, something to be very, very proud of. At the federal level, the U.S. has withdrawn from membership of that, actually. So Lowell is probably left to carry the torch, and the meaning and the importance of having the learning city right now city. And I appreciate that the Director of Library and Councilor Juran attended the first meeting. Sounds like it's moving forward. One of the things that I mentioned in the motion through Mr. Mayor to Mr. Manager was to establish a task force. Has that been in the works yet, to have different representatives from the city, from businesses and so forth? Just want to see where's that at structurally.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, to the council. I may yield some of my time to Councilor Juran on this matter, if that's okay with the councilor. We've been talking about this and working towards UNESCO and trying to bring everyone together. So I know that she may be speaking on this in a moment, but it's something that Councilor Juran's been working on for quite some time.
I was actually going to nominate Councilor Juran to be the city council representative if she accepts.
Councilor Rourke, do you want to go first? You were on the motion, then go to Councilor Juran?
No, just,
I'm all set, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this Friday, March 27th at 8:30 is the next meeting. UMass Lowell South Campus, the Allard House. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Rourke. Councilor Juran.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Mr. City Manager, I think. I am glad that the city manager and the library director had the chance to participate in the onboarding sessions. And the session I attended, which was a separate one, just because they didn't allow too many people to attend, was very informative and reminded us, or actually told us, about the resources and opportunities that are available to Lowell as part of this UNESCO designation. I do know that the city manager is considering ways to use the designation to market the city. I think we have many opportunities in connection with the bicentennial, because we've been a learning city for 200 years, in connection with the Front Runner City designation, because continual learning is part of the urban transformation that the Front Runner City celebrates, in connection with our various learning institutions, not only higher ed, but really all of them, and in connection with the learning that is and continues to be embedded in our neighborhoods, so that our entire community continues to thrive and adapt. And all of which I think is a good economic development and tourism driver. As Councilor Rourke noted, there is a meeting that the City of Learning Group has scheduled for this Friday. If folks are interested in attending and being part of this initiative, they can reach out to me, because I can't tell you the exact email address. It's a long one for the group. I believe and hope that the city is sending a representative to be fully engaged in that activity. And I'm not sure if this is exactly the task force that Councilors Rourke and Chow had asked for, but I think that is probably in progress. So I'll now turn it back to the city manager.
Manager Golden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through the council. So, in short, yes, we are working towards that. I'm working with Ms. DeRoches as well. We will be attending. I think I'm going to be there. I think Ms. DeRoche is going to be there on Friday as well. And we are trying to get the task force moving forward, where we have a whole bunch of partners. And there was a whiteboard exercise that myself and Councilor Juran went through, as to see who should and who could be a part of it. And most of the whiteboard exercises that we do in the office always has a question mark. So the next time you're in the office, it's because we never always think we're missing somebody. So I can get that to you, Councilor Chow, and tell you the partners that we think, and then you may come up with, hey, we should think of this one. And I can promise you we'll still put that question mark out there, because we want to make sure that everybody has this opportunity. We want to make sure that we're taking this chance, this opportunity to really push, as the council just stated, the great opportunity we have with the UNESCO and the United Nations that we've been working with, and I think we've been very successful with. So it's to be continued, but we are working towards it.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Noon, seconded by Councilor Dakota. 7.1, motion responses. Motion response B, traffic calming. Councilor Juran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I definitely appreciate the report. And I especially appreciated the point that Ms. Altman made about that a resident group and not a single resident could and should initiate traffic calming process, so that this really becomes something that the neighborhood considers, and it's not just a single resident who wants or doesn't want a speed hump in front of their house. And I'll also just remind viewers and folks at home that they can find more details online if they simply search for Lowell MA traffic calming. There's a lot more detail on the city's website. So, but if people have additional questions, I know this is an area of interest in my district, and I'm sure in others. So I'd be happy to gather information from folks who have questions. Thank you, and share them.
Thank you, Councilor Juran. Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Assistant City Manager Giovanni Roses. The report is very detailed. You know, a report like this, there's so many other reports that sometimes you don't know where to go. From the resident, you don't know where to go. You don't know that the city, the engineer department is do the paving, do all this work. And even knowing that, you don't know where to go. So we need to have some central location to put information like this, like 311, like financial report, like so many other reports. There's a place to put it, centralized places where people can go looking at those reports. This is an important report. It tells you basically is that, when you do paving, you base on what? You look, the city engineer looking for what? Like say condition of the road, like criteria of what criteria they're looking at and how they rate the service and the engineer studies and all those report. It's very detailed, very good. It's not like based on someone calling, and said, hey, take care of this. You see what I'm saying? That's important to the resident. So I think we should find a location, a centralized location to put this report so people can find it at home.
Thank you, Councilor Noon. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Dakota, seconded by Councilor Chow. 7.1, motion responses C, Meadowcroft Street. Councilor Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Obviously, this report just shows the ongoing process that's had to happen to get to this point. The street is like an obstacle course at any point in time. There's another barrel there right now. I look forward to it finally being completed. Can we just find out, is the utility work completed at this point in time? Is it?
Manager Golden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Beatty, is the utility work completed on Meadowcroft?
I don't believe that it is at this point, but I think it's getting close, and I believe that once it is completed, it's going to be scheduled for, or a portion of that street is going to be scheduled for the localized paving program as soon as it can.
Yeah, I saw that it said from the tracks up to St. James Street, and I would just add that I did have residents reach out to me at number 1, 3, and 7 Meadowcroft Street to tell me that the line work that had been done there is starting to really sink. They're worried about it breaking another line, I guess, is their concern. So if someone could look at that. Thank you.
I drove the street today. I think it's in fairly good condition for the majority of the street. There is a section down by the railroad tracks that is obviously inundated with some infrastructure problems and some utility issues that have to be addressed first.
Yeah, this was prior work that had been, trench work that had been done that's now starting to really sink that they had expressed concerns about. So if someone could just look at those as well.
We will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilor Scott. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Robinson. 7.1, motion response D, 5-year infrastructure summary. Councilor Juran.
Oops, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to the DPW staff and Mr. Beatty and everyone. I really appreciate this report and the thought and care and work that went into it. I love flow charts, graphs, and tables, and you gave me all of them. And I would ask any resident who wants their street paved to read this, before requesting it, because I think it's important that we all see how much work the city has done and how the city prioritizes the work to be done. I did have two brief questions. One is there a map of the streets that have had street improvements that's available? Just because I think I would love to see that.
We're working on it, and it's very close to being actually implemented on the GIS platform. So it's going to be happening very, very soon, and that will allow everybody to interactively choose different layers regarding different streets and the different processes that have taken place. So I think it's going to be a welcoming sort of addition to the GIS platform.
Cool, that's really great. And then I know that there has been a significant increase in the amount of money spent on paving and other road improvements over the last 5 years, and I'm not sure to whom this question would be addressed, but I was curious if inflation and tariffs and other sort of post-COVID things have impacted the amount of road work that could be done, whether there's been sort of a proportional increase, or whether in terms of the mileage that's been paved, or whether that's not.
I'm not really sure.
Mr. Golan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through the council. In short answer, it's yes. Since COVID, we have seen, I want to say, a considerable amount of increases towards everything when it comes to road pavings and concrete and et cetera. Has it settled? I'm looking to the experts. I think the pricing has settled. That doesn't mean it has gone down. Mr. Beatty, would you agree with that?
I'm sure the costs have gone up pretty statistically evenly over the, as they typically would do. But this bar graphic here is pretty informative with respect to the amount of money that the city's laying out for some of these improvements. So it's a nice document. It's very detailed, very informative. It's a good read, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I would suggest residents really take a look at it and dig in. Thank you.
It would be nice if Chapter 90 monies kept up with the inflation to the product. Did I say that out loud again? 7.1, motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Dakota, seconded by Councilor Chow. 7.1, motion response F, Calorie Park, Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Assistant City Manager Byers-Rose, thank you for the report. Understanding that you're updating the city's open space and recreation plan, we are looking at probably a focus group with the neighborhood right around, was it August, September, or?
Assistant City Manager Byers-Rose.
So there's going to be a couple public sort of participation moments. One, the staff likes to do on-site kind of pop-up events at the park. So that's the event that's tentatively scheduled for May 16th right now, usually on a weekend. Try to grab people when they're using the park and be physically there. We'll bring boards, kind of talk to people about different things. The team's been using a lot of scale-sized models to try to get people to fit the things they'd like to see at the site and trade off what they might need to lose if they want to add a thing or some of that. And that's been pretty successful. But in addition to that, the hope is to also have separate conversations, particularly scheduled, more focused group conversations. So that will be less trying to catch people while they're at the park and more like a planned event. So we've reached out to the neighborhood group and hope to schedule that. I don't think that there's been a date finalized for that. And then I think depending on how that conversation goes and how the engagement at the park goes will determine kind of what the next step is. I think, if we overwhelmingly hear stuff that's pretty consistent, it makes it a little bit easier to make decisions about what amenities we want to have at the park. If it seems there's two different camps of options that are kind of presenting themselves, then there may be a follow-up conversation either at the park or through a more focused group conversation where we can kind of lay out this is what we're hearing from people, help us decide kind of what you prioritize. So public engagement, sort of stop by the park, spend 10 minutes or spend an hour, it'll be up to you, and then like a longer, kind of more focused conversation in person are the two things that we have planned right now.
I appreciate it. I'm glad to see the plan is moving forward. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Dakota. Councilor Chow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Great motion, Councilor Dakota, and thank you for the response, Assistant City Manager Giovanni Baez. I just want to make a comment. I want to thank the administration and DPD for the beautiful playground that was renovated a year and a half ago. The park is a block away from me, and during nice weather, it's packed. I see 3 generations there, grandparents, the parents and the kids, grandkids that go there. What I hear when I walk by the park all the time, talk to the people that go there, they said they wish that the playground area could be bigger. So that would be like a wish list from the neighbor. If that, I know the overall park plan is still in the works with the focus group and so forth, but just the playground itself, if you could expand that, more slides, more swing, whatever. It has a lot of usage in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Chow. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Juran, seconded by Councilor Morissett. 7.1, motion responses. Motion response G, bridge safety measures. Councilor Noon.
Thank you. I think not just me, I think you too, Mr. Mayor, and Councilor Chow.
Councilor Chow, yeah.
Yeah, all three of us. I think it was stemmed from concern and recent, jumping off the bridge, and people do that. And so I think since we put some sign there and all that, we received some positive response from people saying that that's helped. And your ongoing communication with the universities and with the transportation secretaries is also going to help as well, because we own those bridges and we have to do everything we can to deter people from doing so, from jumping off the bridge. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Noon. Manager Golden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Just quickly, we all know this is a terrible, sad topic to discuss, but the university and our sign department here in the city of Lowell reacted. We've had, as the council knows, some good responses from the neighborhoods and from the people that really utilize this. So we're going to be meeting again on Friday to find out what else can happen from the state's perspective. But I've been working with Ms. DeRogers, and if it's okay with the council, we're going to every September to make sure that all of these signs are up to snuff, clean, and ensure that people know about this. So we're putting it on our calendar to make sure that once a year we're ensuring that all those signs are in good order, they're not faded. Let people know that there is an opportunity for help. So, but we will be there on Friday. I'm unaware at this time what the state will do, but we have their ear, and they are coming up to talk to myself and our team, as well as the university. So thank you very much to the council for moving the ball forward on this. And I do know that it has made a difference. So thank you.
Thank you, Manager Golden. Councilor Chow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Manager, for the timely report, and with all the stakeholders, the UMass Lowell and the Mass DOT work on this. The focus has been, like you said, Mr. Manager, is very sad on the Howe Bridge. I was just wondering, part of the ask with the original motion was also to look at other bridges as well. Has there been any, the state look at the other bridge, because, we're focused on one that costs, that is a problem or it's an issue now, but I don't want to see incident, once one bridge is safe, it could move to another bridge, different part of the city. So I was wondering if there's some study, coordination with other bridges as well.
Manager Golden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through you to the council. Council, we'll be having that discussion on Friday. And also, Councilor Liang, I want to thank you for your thoughts on some of our garages. We did have an unfortunate incident. It was in a private garage, but we're looking to ensure that people know that there is another opportunity. I've talked to Superintendent Hudon about that, about possibly putting some signs up in that area to let folks know as well. But I should know more, and I can report back via email to the council as to what happens on Friday. Myself and I believe Ms. DeRoges is going with me to that particular meeting. And once again, it's about public awareness that there are other opportunities for people. So we'll be able to get back to you in regards to all of the bridges, but one I don't know why, but the one bridge seems to be something that we really need to concentrate on, one particular bridge.
Thank you.
Motion to accept and place on file by Council McDonough, seconded by Councilor Scott. 7.1 motions H, UML link. Councilor McDonough.
Mr. Mayor, through you to the manager, the assistant manager for DPD. Thank you for asking, I guess, right? Can't hurt to ask. I would just like to take a second here to remind both anybody still watching at 9:35 and the other 10 of my council colleagues that the area near the university is more than just a university, and downtown Lowell is more than just a business district. It's also it's a neighborhood. It's a neighborhood where a lot of people live. In the Riverwalk section and the Riverwalk neighborhood has a lot of people living in a fairly concentrated area. You're talking about hundreds of units on a little strip of the Merrimack River, in addition to a very dense neighborhood in a number of other buildings. And does the university own the space? Yes. Is it the only decent park left in downtown? Also, yes. And so I guess what I'm asking, not on the motion response, but it's when I need to say it, I guess, is that both we as a council, also, to anyone from the university that ever feels like listening to someone from the city, and I know it's been a minute, the university does a lot of great work for the city, the entire city. And I think this council has looked at a number of other institutions and businesses that do a lot of great work for the city. One of them in Councillor Scott's district is Markley, and we put a moratorium on them. We said, you might do a lot of great work for the city, but you're having this really negative impact on the people that live nearby. I'm not looking for a moratorium on the university. I just want to make the point that the university needs to work with not just the city as an institution, but also with the neighborhood. And that's all. So thank you.
Manager Golan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And I through you to the council. I know the time is late, but I know that the councilor and I have been talking about this. To the folks that are concerned about green space, we are too. Councilor McDonough and I have talked about this. We're looking to work with DCR. As a matter of fact, I want to say thank you very much to Assistant City Manager Rose for working with NEMCOG to actually bring the Urban Land Institute in just the other day. We had a group of planners that walked the city. I say the other day, it was just Monday. It was just yesterday. I apologize. It's been a long day. But so they walked the city talking about open space, talking about how to access the river. And this all happened really because of our work with our planners here. But we are looking downtown, and you know that, Councilor. We're looking around some DCR property to see how we can expand. Do I wish the answer was a little bit different? Yes, I do. But I understand that 20 years ago, the university started to collect all of this property through, it was called the Lawrence Mills Reuse Committee. Maybe it was even 25 years ago, probably. So where it doesn't seem to be much of an opportunity right now for this, there's still an opportunity for the edification, once again, of the residents in the downtown that the councilor and myself and DPD have been working on to try to look towards some DCR land to kind of freshen it up. So that's where we're working towards. This isn't exactly what we wanted, but we'll continue to try to see if there's open space opportunities in the downtown.
Thank you for that. And I know that your administration, it was your administration that said, no, we're not going to put all of the ARPA Park money in one neighborhood. We're gonna spread it out and give, right? And I can't thank the administration enough for that effort. This was less about the city side of this arrangement and more about my view that the university, while they do a lot of good, is also they're an institution and they're a college, whatever, but they're also a business interest and they're working in their best interest. And there are times that the city needs to I don't know, see what strings we have for the people that live nearby. So thank you again.
Thank you, Councilor McDonough. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Liang, seconded by Councilor Juran. 7.1 motion responses. 7.1I, Community Benefits Agreement. Councilor Noon.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to Assistant City Manager Giovanni Roses for the report, a very detailed report. I understand that when we look at a report, when we look at the conditions set by, say, land use board, either be zoning, planning, or conservation, they put condition to making sure that they set those conditions to mitigate the impact that that project would have on the abutters and whatnot. The idea for CBA, Community Benefit Agreement, is want to go far, a little beyond that, not just look at direct abutter or project in that small area. We want to see the impact that that project would have on the community and community at large. And that's what we should be looking at. I know that in the report we also have a copy of Somerville and Cambridge Ordinance. So that said, I was wondering if we can just send this to the report to subcommittee, maybe Economic Development Subcommittee, since this has to do with, somewhat downtown, either Economic Subcommittee, Economic Development Subcommittee, or the neighborhood subcommittee, either or, is fine by me. But also at the same time, I would ask that the law department do a draft of an ordinance for Lowell, maybe looking at Somerville or Cambridge, and do a draft ordinance, and maybe with that draft ordinance, we can send it to those subcommittee and to have those subcommittee as they have further discussion on this CBA, that they have a draft ordinance with them as well. So thank you.
Motion by Councilor Noon to send the Community Benefits Agreement to the Economics Development Subcommittee, seconded by Councilor Scott.
Mr. Mayor, if it's okay with the maker, would it be neighborhood be a better fit on this? Because you're talking about community benefits agreement that would be kind of brokered by the neighbors.
I'm fine with that. So maybe, yes, in alternative, yes, do neighborhood subcommittee, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so would you withdraw your second, please, Councilor Scott? Yes, thank you. Motion by Councilor Noon to send the Community Benefits Agreement to the Neighborhood Subcommittee, seconded by Councilor Scott. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Councilor Juran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There was a lot of information provided in this report, including, as Councilor Noon indicated, examples from Cambridge and Somerville, which, if I read them correctly, have very different approaches to community benefit agreements. And so I think it will be a challenge for the city solicitor to come up with an approach without guidance from DPD and ultimately from the council as to which way we want to go. I think there are pros and cons to both. There are costs to the city and obligations to the city that differ, between the two. So, maybe this is the start of a conversation at the neighborhood meeting, but I don't think we're ready to have an ordinance to be placed right in front of it.
Thank you, Councilor Juran. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Liang, seconded by Councilor Chow. 7.2, information reports. Information report, traffic ordinance amendment. Mr. Manager. That's okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My apologies, I lost my place. And this is just given us an opportunity to bring forward a couple of 215-minute parking spaces at 493 Market Street to try them out, as well as 142 and 144 in Nell Street in Centerville, 57 Methuen Street in Centerville, 61 Chestnut Street in Lower Belvedere, 154 Coburn Street, and these are all for handicap accessibility. These would all be under 60-day trial.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Dakota, seconded by Councilor Robinson. 7.2, information reports. Information reports, CPC. Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much. Once again, councilors, before you from the Community Preservation Act, we do have a Community Preservation Committee. For the edification of the residents who are listening, there is 1% surcharge on local property taxes. That yields, I'm going to get in trouble by my CFO, it yields approximately, I think it was $1 million. And they have the opportunity. The Community Preservation Committee has made some commitments that are within the body of the text. All Wheels Welcome open space funding recommendation of $300,000. Victorian Park open space. Downtown Lowell Neighborhood Association asking for $26,000. I will not read them all off. There's affordable housing and historic preservation, and we're looking to take the recommendation and send it to the subcommittee. Excuse me. Thank you very much. It'd be the joint subcommittee, finance and neighborhood.
Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. I have a couple questions. When this comes to us in the form of a vote, will it be all or nothing, like a complete package?
Assistant City Manager Byers-Rose.
No, the council can ask for reconsideration on any particular recommendations. So you wouldn't have to sort of say yes to everything or like maybe reconsider that. So the council could make a request essentially to the Community Preservation Council to reconsider any particular recommendation, but it doesn't have to be like all or nothing.
Thank you. Again, to me personally, I'll speak for myself, and I've spoken to quite a bit of the residents in my district. It's disappointing. Out of $2 million, more than 50% again is allocated towards housing. 326,000 is going to open space improvements, with 26,000 going towards the little park downtown, which is desperately needed. 300,000 for skate park studies, which I fully support if that's going to get kids out doing something constructive. But again, I mean, we have historic preservation requests from groups that we're still waiting to see come through and follow through on their end with requirements of taking ownership of properties. Some of the other ones I agree with, I think. But this, again, this year is very housing heavy, with next to nothing for open space improvements. So I hope something can be done, and it's disappointing that the city has not applied for any of these funds. We haven't applied in the form of open space improvements on here. I mean, really, with any of the small projects that we have lined up.
Is that a question?
No, I'm not asking a question. I see people shaking their head, but I mean, every district we could probably list 3 small projects for open space improvements, and none of it is even listed on here. We've been looking for a bathroom. We just installed through ARPA a splash pad in Centerville. So now, again, toddlers are going to be getting wetted, and where do they go to the bathroom? Where do you change your kid? You know, it's not even, it doesn't make sense. Hopefully Top Donut is open after hours for families, because that's the only option in that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Councilor McDonough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will take Councilor Robinson's point and rephrase it with a question mark. How many proposals, and if we don't have the answer tonight, that's okay. This is coming back. Mr. Mayor, through you to City Manager Giovanni Baez-Rose. I never say anybody's name because they all get, then I'm going to mess some of these up one day, but how many proposals for open space and outdoor rec, either by the city or by, you know, like the neighborhood group also came in with one, but how many total proposals for outdoor and rec projects went in front of the board?
Assistant City Manager Byers-Rose.
So every project that came in front of the CPC got some recommended money. So there were 2 applications. The All Wheels Welcome application was a $600,000 request that would have paid for the design planning and to do construction. So the request was split to sort of do the first part of it, and then the open space request from the Victorian Park people was just fully funded. It wasn't a very big request.
So then there was, I guess, to
two.
Councillor Robinson's point, there was only one request made by the city for outdoor rec projects. I mean, it was a pretty big ask, but that it just as a number, it was only one.
I think if we look back, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I think we were looking at the time was the APA projects. We were trying to get them done and out of the way before we put forth a lot, but I'm not 100% sure of that. I think that's what we were talking about at the time, and we're still in the middle. I think we have like Hadley Parks, lighting. There's still things in the queuing, but I see what both of you are saying. I'm just trying to be fair.
If I could just finish, the last one that I had was, and I know that the ownership situation over at Mass Mills is pretty nebulous with the number of buildings there are, but I also know that on that parcel, there's an issue with one of the buildings dropping bricks on the Riverwalk. And I was a little bit surprised to see that parcel awarded any money for anything that wasn't resolving this issue that was hampering the Riverwalk. It is possible that, and so if it's a different ownership group, I'd love to just have that corrected publicly. I don't want to, point a finger, but that was a question. Thank you.
We still have certainly plenty of time to vote against that if it's a piece that we want to. Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have to agree with Councilor Robinson. This seems very top-heavy for housing. But my question would be concerning Suffolk Place as well as Mass Mills. Have we already offered them any tips or ties at this point?
City
Manager.
Manager Golden.
Councilor, that would be something I'd just get back to. That doesn't jump out to me, but I will get back to you on that.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Councilor Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It says the applicant must receive an historic preservation restriction on the property. What does that mean?
Assistant City Manager Byers-Rose.
Yeah, so for any project that gets funded for historic preservation, so there are some projects that qualify for more than one thing, right? If it's a mill redevelopment project for a housing, for example, they can apply for under both the bucket for housing and historic preservation. But for projects that are accepting historic preservation funds, they are accepting that they're getting historic preservation funds, and there is a restriction that gets placed on the project for that to protect the historic asset that we have invested funds in, essentially. And so everybody who gets funding in that pot, it's a part of the deal. You either accept that restriction or you cannot access these funds. And so that is explained to everybody very early in the application process. We remind people again when we make the announcement, when we make the awards, and then that information is also included as a part of their grant agreement. So when they're signing their name on it, they're fully acknowledging that by accepting the funds under that bucket, they are agreeing to preserve that historic asset.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Mercia. Councilor Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just like to echo Councilor Robinson's sentiments. We had brought up over the last 2-3 cycles of this that we really wanted to see more open space projects brought forward. There was the discussion around opera funding, and that's why we waited. But now you did bring forward the $600,000 for the project, and my question is just around this 10%, 10%, and 10%. I believe that has to go into each bucket every cycle, with 70% that's left open for whatever usage. The $600,000 that you applied for the All Wheels Welcome project. I mean, is there still money in that pool of money that's available that's not used right now? I guess that's what I'm trying to understand. Why that one project would have not been fully funded.
Assistant City Manager Byers-Rose.
So we always get way more requests than there are funds available. I think there was only, I think it was just under, and the auditor might actually know this, I think it was just under $300,000, which was like the minimum 10%. So that the what has been awarded to for open space sort of meets that. We I mean, the CPC made the decision to sort of fund it in phases because the requests always significantly exceed the funding that is available, essentially. And so the application from DPD was explicit that there sort of was a planning and design phase that needed to happen first, and then there would be a construction phase. And so the group said, basically, come back for the construction.
Okay, I'm just a little surprised, I guess, at that. The 70% that, we've talked about it being kind of heavy in certain areas and not so much in open space, that wasn't kind of prioritized. And I understand that there's other projects that have also not been completed in the time frame that they were expected to happen in. So I'm kind of surprised by that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Scott. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Mercier, seconded by Councilor Noon. 7.2, informational reports, board and commissions. Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and through you to the council. This is an opportunity that we've been looking at, is to ensure that all of our city boards, commissions, and committees are operating, quite frankly, the same way the city council does. We've noticed we have a lot of folks who are donating their time, giving of their time, and I don't want to say we could do better. So what I'm asking is for the rules subcommittee to take this in, to look at it, to make sure that once again, every city board, every commission, every committee is working the same way the council does, with providing minutes, with making sure open meeting laws, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Conformity is probably the best way to say this, and I would like, what I'm requesting is that the rules subcommittee take a look at this. We have statutory boards, and then we have boards that have been started by the mayor, or started by the council, et cetera. And this is just an opportunity. I'm viewing this as a kind of a house cleaning, a house cleaning method for all of our boards, because I want to say thank you very much to all of our board members who put in all the time, and we want to give them the tools to succeed and do it the right way. So that's the request, to go to the rules subcommittee for future discussion, and to see if this is, we want everyone to operate in the same manner.
Do I have to
Councilor McDonough.
make everything the manager just said? Can I make that a motion and refer it to the rules subcommittee? Do I have to do that?
Motion by Councilor McDonough to send it to the rules subcommittee, seconded by Councilor Mercier. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Motion to accept and place on file the informational report by Councilor Juran, seconded by Councilor Dakota. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 7.3, communication, resignation of Cormac Hondras McCarthy from the Sustainability Commission. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Chow, seconded by Councilor Dakota.
Mr. Mayor, with the time being like 9:57, make the motion to continue past 10 o'clock.
Motion by Councilor Robinson to continue past 10 o'clock, seconded by Councilor Scott. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilor Chow.
Yes.
Councilor Dakota.
Yes.
Mayor Gitschier.
Yes.
Councilor Juran.
Yes.
Councilor Liang.
Yes.
Councilor McDonough.
Yes.
Councilor Mercier.
Absolutely.
Councilor Noon.
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
Councilor Rourke.
Yes. Yes, sorry.
Councilor Scott.
Yes.
11 yeas.
You guys must be here to punish me. 7.4, communication. City manager requests approval of out-of-state travel. One from the library. Motion to adopt by Councilor McDonough, seconded by Councilor Yang. Roll call. Sorry, Mr. Clerk.
Yeah, it's all right. What was the motion? Who made the motion, Council?
Councilor Yang, seconded by Councilor McDonough.
Councilor Chow.
Yes.
Councilor Dakota.
Yes.
Mayor Gitschier.
Yes.
Councilor Juran.
I'm going to abstain because I haven't filed my 23B3 yet.
Councilor Liang.
Yes.
Councilor McDonough.
Yes.
Councilor Mercier.
Yes.
Councilor Noon.
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
Councilor Rourke.
Yes.
Councilor Scott.
Yes.
10 yeas.
10 yeas, motion passes.
Mr. Mayor,
Can we group 8-1 and 8-2?
I was going to say, can we make a motion to bundle 8-1 to 8-3?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I apologize.
Motion by Councilor Dakota to bundle 8.1 to 8.3, seconded by Councilor Robinson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? 8.1, vote, accept, expand $750,000 community project fund grant. 8.2, vote, accept and expend $121,000 Mass Cultural Council FY26 gaming mitigation grant. 8.3, vote, transferring $118,750 unemployment budget. Waive full reading and second reading by title.
Mr. Mayor,
Motion go ahead.
After hearing from some residents, I'm objecting to the second reading of 8.1.
So you're objecting to the second reading of 8.1?
Right. Rule 28.
Okay.
There's a number of people who wish to speak on the grant to the university, and they weren't not able to make it tonight, but
Okay, so
thank you.
since there's an objection by Councilor McDonough on 8.1, that one will be removed from the vote for tonight. So the vote tonight will be on 8.2. Vote, accept, expand $121,000 Mass Cultural Council FY26 gaming mitigation grant, and 8.3, vote transferring $118,750 unemployment budget. Motion to adopt by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Noon. Roll call.
Council Chow. Yes. Council Dakota.
Yes.
Mayor Gitschier.
Yes.
Council Juran.
Yes.
Council Liang.
Yes.
Council McDonough.
Yes.
Council Mercier.
Yes.
Council Noon.
Yes.
Council Robinson.
Yes.
Council Rourke.
Yes.
Council Scott.
Yes.
11 yeas.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. 10, Constable Bonds. 10.1, Communications. City Manager requests approval of Emma Amaro, Constable. Motion to adopt by Councilor Scott, seconded by Councilor Liang. Roll call.
Council Chow. Council Dakota.
Yes.
Mayor Gitschier.
Yes.
Council Juran.
Yes.
Council Liang.
Yes.
Council McDonough.
Yes.
Council Mercier.
Yes.
Council Noon.
Yes.
Council Robinson.
Yes.
Council Rourke. Council Scott.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Council McDonough, do you want to do the subcommittee tonight, or do you want to push it till next week?
I'm happy to read it next week.
Okay.
I can read it tonight if you really want, but it's bedtime.
Stop it.
The same with...
yeah.
Here anyway.
Oh, you want to do it? All right, we'll just do both. Okay. 11, reports of subcommittee, if any. 11.1, zoning subcommittee, joint with neighborhood subcommittee, March 5th, 2026. Who wants to do it?
This is the zoning one?
Yep.
Well, okay.
The neighborhoods, who wants to do it? The neighborhood?
I can go zoning first, or it's the combined, because then there's another zoning one. So
Let's do it.
I'm gonna go fast. This is the post bedtime story. So there was a zoning subcommittee meeting. It was a joint subcommittee meeting between neighborhood and zoning. I was there, Councilor Dakota and Councilor Scott from zoning, and then from neighborhoods were Councilor Scott and Dakota and Chow, and yes, but I overlap. So meeting open, there was also present Camilo Espita from DPD, Dylan Riker from DPD, and Nels Nelson, the consultant with Community Scale. There was a presentation of the fact that there would be more information forthcoming and the kind of the scope of this zoning study. Discussion centered both around the presentation itself and also some concerns about the preliminary recommendations of the zoning study. Open meeting to the public. A private citizen, Belinda Juran, voiced some concerns over lot size minimum reductions. Jerry Frechette from the planning board commented on prior rezoning and noted the importance of protecting the character of every neighborhood, not any specific neighborhood, but kind of every neighborhood in the city, especially with some of the challenges that I think we're now seeing with infill development. On the subcommittee side, Councilor Dakota asked some questions about involvement of the Front Runner program in alignment with Lowell Forward. Councilor Scott referenced lot size affects parking in the area. Mr. Espita noted different approaches to assist with parking in dense areas. There were several questions by Councilors Scott and McDonough about the process of the rezoning plan and what kind of community input either has already been solicited and will be solicited. A couple comments about ADUs, and then Councilor McDonough and Scott, and it's not in the notes, but I feel like Councilor Dakota, you brought this up as well, if memory serves, a concern around the significant reduction in lot size minimums across the city, not just in single family areas, but in multifamily zoning areas as well. Mr. Nelson, in conclusion here, Mr. Nelson noted feedback from the community will be vital, and Councilor Scott noted that the session was informational and that no action is being requested or needed at this point.
Thank you, Councilor McDonough. Motion to accept the report is a report of progress by Councilor Morissett, seconded by Councilor Juran. 11-2, Neighborhood Subcommittee, March 5th, 2026. Councilor Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the Neighborhood Subcommittee meeting met on March 5th at 7 p.m. I called the meeting to order with Councilors Chow and Dakota present. The first item we discussed was improving public access to city reports. Resident Belinda Juran suggested consolidating key information, including financial, infrastructure, and regional updates into one location. I expressed support for a more user-friendly and transparent approach with reports located in one location. Councilor Chow emphasized the importance of accessibility for all residents, and Councilor Dakota noted the value of clear, more consistent communication of city data. The second item reviewed was paving and infrastructure. The engineering department outlined the 311 system, the district-based 5-year paving plan, and project prioritization criteria. Councilor Chow raised concerns and questions regarding the consistency of the plan and communication with residents. Councilor Dakota asked about the inclusion of sidewalks and long-term coordination with other projects. I raised concerns regarding repair timelines and overall consistency. A motion was made at the end, a motion to refer to the full council a request that the city manager review the feasibility of developing a centralized, user-friendly reporting location or a dashboard to improve public access, which is exactly what Councilor Nude had mentioned earlier tonight. So I would bring that motion forward to the whole council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Scott.
Yeah, in the form of a motion.
Motion to accept.
Councilor Gitschier.
Okay,
Mayor Gitschier. There was a motion made.
Motion by Councilor Scott, seconded by Councilor Rourke. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered.
Mr. Mayor, are we allowed to bundle 12.1 through 12.4?
I just have to finish this. Motion to accept the report that Councilor Scott gave as a report of progress by Councilor Noon, seconded by Councilor Morissett. Councilor Robinson.
Are we allowed to bundle 12.1 to 12.4?
They're all different places, so I'd have to just read through them.
Okay.
So you not know. 12, petition 12.1, claims 6 property damage. Motion to refer to Law Department for report and recommendation by Councilor Noon, seconded by Councilor Juran. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 12.2, miscellaneous. Alicia DeJesus requests installation of a handicap parking sign at 767 Central Street. Motion to refer to the transportation engineer for report and recommendation by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Rourke. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 12.3, miscellaneous. Residents First Development Corporation, Geary & Geary requests permission to amend special permit at River's Edge on the Concord. Motion to refer to the planning board for a hearing on May 4th and to the city council for a public hearing on May 12th by Councilor McDonough, seconded by Councilor Dakota. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 12.4, miscellaneous. Walter Di Cavallero requests overhanging facade extensions, new building, 43 Fletcher Street. Motion to refer to Law Department for report and recommendation by Councilor Morissett, seconded by Councilor Chow. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 13, City Council Executive Session. 13.1, Executive Session to consider and discuss ongoing negotiations relative to the HCID Parcel 15, Wexford Development LLC, public discussion of which could have a detrimental effect on the city's position. Motion to enter executive session, adjourned from executive session by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Noon. Roll call.
Council Chow.
Yes.
Council Dakota.
Yes.
Mayor Gitschier.
Yes.
Council Juran.
Yes.
Council Liang.
Yes.
Council McDonough.
Yes.
Council Morissett.
Yes.
Council Noon.
Yes.
Council Robinson.
Yes.
Council Rourke.
Yes.
Council Scott.
Yes.
11 yeas.
The announcements. Just tomorrow's Greek flag raising at noontime at City Hall. Councilor Mercia eloquently said that, and she's wearing her blue tonight.
Have a good day.
Oh, that's super.
Have a good day.